Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by DEA Take Back Day.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Crews have begun assessing massive destruction from tornadoes that ripped across the plains last night.
Look at that. It's a satellite tornado. Good night.
KWTV's Brianna Brown is in Enid, Oklahoma.
This is possibly a vacant home, but you can see straight through this home now. The back half of the home, all the walls are completely destroyed, and the roof is destroyed here at this house.
Mayor David Mason.
The main thing is houses can be rebuilt. Hopefully we don't have anybody that was hurt or worse.
Garfield County officials say at least 10 people were injured, one hospitalized. Heat and dry air are helping spread devastating wildfires in the southeast. Correspondent Mark Strassman is in Waynesville, Georgia this morning.
Rural South Georgia is battling a pair of wildfires roughly 65 miles apart. Miraculously, no lives lost. But Brantley County's fire is only 15% contained. Flames have taken 87 homes, and some homeowners are ignoring calls to evacuate.
We have folks that are sitting in their front yards running sprinklers. So some are leaving and some are staying.
There is no significant rain in the forecast there for days. The U.S. and Iran remain in a standoff over the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump originally predicted the war would last 4 to 6 weeks, now in its 8th. He's refusing to update the timeline.
If I left right now, we had a tremendous success. It would take them 20 years to rebuild, but I don't want to do that. I want to have it everlasting.
He says the pain in Americans' pocketbooks may last for a while. He says it's worth the trade-off. Average price for gas today, $4.06 a gallon. Iran's soccer team will be allowed to play in the World Cup in the U.S.
At the White House, President Trump was asked what he thinks of a proposal to have Iran replaced in the World Cup by Italy, which didn't qualify for the tournament.
I don't think about it too much.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Iran's soccer team is welcome in the U.S.
What they can't bring is a bunch of IRGC terrorists into our country and pretend that they're, journalists and athletic trainers.
FIFA rejected Iran's request that its 3 World Cup matches in the U.S. be moved to Mexico. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
An update on what songs we're streaming most.
I cry my eyes for little Elizabeth Day.
Spotify's 20th anniversary list puts Taylor Swift at the top of the most streamed artists of all time. Bad Bunny is second, then Drake. The Weeknd and Ariana Grande round out the top 5. This is CBS News.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 25th. Find a collection site near you at deatakeback.com.
At 6:03, we have rain, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, April 24th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterey. As the city of St. Louis weighs the future of its water system, officials are emphasizing the distinction between public service and private profit. Special Assistant Spencer Gould told a crowd at Booter Library this week that unlike corporate utilities in the county, St. Louis Water remains a municipally owned asset where every dollar stays within the city.
Every single person who works for the water division, myself, Neeraj, our customer service staff you may have seen come in, they are City of St. Louis employees. Our salaries are public. We are public servants, and we do this because we like doing this.
The Water Division is proposing raising rates by 18%.
The hole that opened up through I-64 east of the Poplar Street Bridge, now repaired.
Well, I drove across the spot where the pothole had opened up, and you could see down to the underpass below, and there is no seeing down to the underpass below anymore. And now, having returned to that underpass where I was a couple of days ago, this is where you can find the only indications that there was a hole that had opened up on I-64. There's a pile of rubble that remains covering the sidewalk here. There's some fresh plywood that was applied to the underneath of the bridge to hold the wet concrete as it dried when it was poured by IDOT crews. But driving over the top of it, completely open, and there's no indication that there ever was a gaping hole that opened up on the interstate. In the Metro East, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
One person is dead after a hit and run in Dutchtown. Police say they received a call for a pedestrian crash in an alleyway off South Grand and Itasca around 11:15 last night. Our partners at Fox 2 report the driver of the vehicle exited the car and left it at the scene after hitting and killing the pedestrian. Police are currently searching for the suspect, but the victim's name has not yet been released.
The former police chief and city administrator of Valda City, Missouri, now sentenced to 27 months in prison. The move comes after 52-year-old Daniel Polino pleaded guilty in November to 2 counts of wire fraud. It was in connection to stolen city funds worth more than $300,000 between 2021 and 2024. Valda City Mayor Derek Gill says the financial strain Paulino's theft had on the city contributed to the police department's dissolution in 2024.
Earlier this week, Clayco founder and data center developer Bob Clark was photographed with Mayor Kara Spencer at a dinner for the St. Louis delegation in London. Clark was recently asked about the Armory data center prior to its approval and used the opportunity to take a shot at city government.
I think they still have a bit of a dysfunctional charter, and they have a dysfunctional Board of Aldermen.
Aldermanic President Megan Green says she has never seen Clark testify before the board or engage much with them, and argues they are taking steps to address one of his concerns.
We've been working for several years on charter amendments and have been sending him pretty regularly to the ballot. So again, if Bob has any feedback on any charter updates, he's always welcome to come and engage in our committee processes.
A spokesperson for Mayor Spencer said no thanks when KMOX asked if she wished to comment on Clark's criticism.
A new era begins at Six Flags St. Louis this weekend.
Say goodbye to Mr. Six and hello to Enchanted Parks, the Orlando company that took over several Six Flags parks.
Come out and spin, smile, and laugh your way into a new season. Six Flags, it's playtime.
Saturday's opening is the first full season for Enchanted running the Eureka Park, and they're making clear they see it as an investment, not a flip. The Screamin' Eagle is getting new lighting for its 50th anniversary. 8 live shows are returning after years of entertainment cutbacks. A new interactive experience opens near the Joker ride in late June, and the Grand Ole Carousel, the historic 1915 ride that's been under restoration, gets its final phase completed in July.
It's not at Disney, it's all right here at Six Flags St. Louis. So big, so fast, so close.
The Six Flags name stays through this season. We'll really see new owner Enchanted Parks leave its mark starting in 2027. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
We'll hear the new owner's plans for the park when Michael interviews the Enchanted Park CEO later today.
From the KMOX Business Desk. 5 people are facing federal consequences for a mail theft operation that targeted St. Louis area collection boxes. The group used stolen arrow keys to break into the mailboxes across the region, stealing checks that were later altered and cashed.
When investigators searched an Airbnb on Chippewa Street, they found hundreds of stolen checks worth more than $2.2 million and check writing software on a laptop. 2 checks stolen in Brentwood were altered and cashed in Florida, costing a company nearly $39,000. Sentences for the 5 range from 8 months to as yet undetermined for the ringleader, who pleaded guilty on Thursday.
It is 6:08, and we'll get you a check of traffic and weather next on KMOX.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
We're starting a program here in the upper GI space called PREVENT. That's the acronym, and it's really aimed at trying to detect these cancers early and even to kind of, reverse them and understand kind of the science behind why they form.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Don't miss the Route 66 Centennial Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Bring back memories of the Mother Road's stunning natural scenery and roadside attractions, and explore its complex history and impacts on communities across the region. Featuring a concert by Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, food trucks, lectures, kids crafts, and more. All activities are free. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. 1 daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
6:10. Let's see if there are still slowdowns out there from some of the accidents we've had, and we've got a lot of rain out there as well. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they cleared this crash eastbound Highway 44 over to the right shoulder. It had been blocking the left lane as well as all lanes now eastbound 44 right underneath the Poplar Street Bridge. That's what's causing those delays into the depressed section on eastbound Highway 44. Still dealing with that accident into North County, westbound on Highway 270 this morning, crossing the Chain of Rocks Bridge. You're steady across the Chain of Rocks Bridge now and backed up all the way up to about Lilac. Still dealing with that crash westbound on Highway 370, just off the entrance ramp from Highway 270. MoDOT still reporting 3 lanes closed there in that stretch, and still just adding volume northbound on Highway 270 between 55 and Highway 44 so far this morning. Not bad coming in from St. Charles County, eastbound on Highway 70, passing Lake St. Louis, Highway 79 and 370. Our next traffic update at 6:20. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
We'll start out with clouds and some rain and even a rumble of thunder for a while this morning. There'll be some breaks of sun later today with a spotty shower or thunderstorm this afternoon, or high 74. Gradual clearing tonight, though 53. Tomorrow mostly sunny, a pleasant start to the weekend with a high of 79. Still warm on Sunday with clouds and sun, high 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got some rain in downtown St. Louis and 63 degrees.
Cards are getting set to start a stretch of 17 games in 17 days. I'll tell you more in sports.
It's 6:12. The Missouri Gaming Commission starting to get a clearer picture of where bets are being placed across the state. Commission Director Michael Lira says data from the first month of sports betting shows exactly where apps are being accessed in Missouri.
And it was obviously in the metropolitan areas, largest being St. Louis and Kansas City, and then Columbia and Springfield. And then you'd see some sprinkled around up in northern Missouri, St. Joe, about the same level as Cape Girardeau.
Lira tells Missouri net revenue was strong early on, with more than $521,000 coming in during the program's launch month in December. Collections did dip in January to about $138,000, but have since started to grow as promotional incentives and carryover bets have had less impact on totals.
More than 100,000 Illinois residents could lose their food stamp benefits starting May 1st.
We know that that's going to create real hardship for a fair amount of our neighbors.
A federal clock is ticking for thousands of Illinois food stamp recipients. The new SNAP work requirement stemming from President Trump's One Big Beautiful bill went into effect February 1st. Now adults 18 to 64 without dependents under 14 must now log at least 80 hours of work per month, volunteering or qualifying education to keep benefits. Those who don't and aren't exempt can only receive SNAP for 3 months over a 3-year period. Karen Matson with the Greater Chicago Food Depository says this is going to be an issue for many families.
Our neighbors are really struggling, and this is going to make it that much more challenging. But we are also counting on the generosity of Chicagoans. We know that they have been there for their neighbors time and time again, and we're really looking for them to step up again now.
The Greater Chicago Food Depository is urging recipients to act now. Check your status or find nearby food resources at saveoursnap.org. Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
With 13 American service members dead and hundreds more injured in the conflict with Iran, Illinois U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth calling for a real debate on what she calls the, quote, war of choice. Duckworth says while troops will always follow orders, civilian leadership in Washington is failing to live up to that same level of sacrifice.
Our troops deserve for us to protect them so that when we do send them to war and they do sacrifice on our behalf, it is not in vain.
Duckworth served in Iraq despite her personal disagreements with that war. She tells MS Now the current lack of transparency regarding mission goals and costs is a disservice to those on the front lines.
Illinois schools are partnering with the Secretary of State to combat bus driver shortages. To make the hiring process easier, the Illinois Secretary of State removed a required exam where potential bus drivers had to correctly identify engine components under the hood.
Well, the Cardinals getting ready to start a stretch of 17 games with no off days as they open a 3-game series tonight with the Mariners at Busch Stadium. Cardinals are coming off a series loss at Miami and a 4-2 road trip overall. They're 14-10 overall. The Mariners 11-15, and that's the only club they're going to face with a losing record over this 2-week-plus stretch of games. Tonight, Andre Pallante makes the start for the Redbirds. He's 2-1 with a .405 earned run average, and he's coming off a win Saturday on the road at Houston. He worked 5 innings, allowing a run on 3 hits, and he struck out 5.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. A fastball up. Strikes out Altuve for the second time tonight. That's the 4th strikeout for Pallante.
Pallante's first win since his first start of the year against the Mets in March. He's worked exactly 5 innings in each of his 4 starts so far this year. He'll be opposed by righty George Kirby. He is 3-2 with a .297 earned run average in 5 starts. He has struck out 27 in 33 innings. Kirby's coming off a Saturday win against Texas. He gave up a run over 5 1/3 innings. First pitch tonight is set for 7:15. Ameren Total Access at 6:20. And our Redbird Report is sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. St. Louis City is back at home tomorrow. They're looking to get back on the winning track. And while the team took a loss last week at Seattle, Jen Cease tells us there was more to that game than just the result on the pitch.
St. Louis City SC may not have gotten the result in Seattle, but the Knights still delivered a powerful moment for the club. Midfielder Edward Lubin made his return to the pitch for the first time this season, subbing on late and scoring in stoppage time for City's only goal. Head coach Juan DeMay says the moment meant something bigger than the scoreline.
It's brilliant to have him back. He gets his first minute, gets on the score sheet as well, puts everything in perspective. The guys have been amazing in terms of the support they've given him. The feeling is very good to have him back with us.
And for his teammates like center back Timo Baumgartel, it meant even more.
I mean, honestly, it was the best of this day. We're so glad to have him back after this terrible time for him. He's a role model, honestly. He shows how life can treat someone and how he can bounce back, and it's given me goosebumps to have him back. He helps us as a player, but most of all, he helps us as a human being, and that's amazing.
A bright moment in a tough result, and one City hopes to carry forward as they're back home this weekend to host San Jose. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Kickoff tomorrow night against San Jose is 7:30 at Energizer Park. And as always, you can hear that game on our sister station, Y98. Next sports update comes up at 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You like the word thorough? It's a good word, thorough. It means complete, accurate, detailed. Well, when you go to Ophthalmology Associates, you will get a thorough eye examination. The technology's incredible. It's all up to date, the very latest. And Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer and their staff will make your visit very personal. That's because they believe every patient is unique. Ophthalmology Associates takes all the research and technology and their personal knowledge and expertise and tailor it into an eye care plan that is as unique as you are. Services include everything from expert treatment of cataracts and retinas to comprehensive eye exams for you and the kids, and a full-service optical shop with a ton of frames to choose from. Ophthalmology Associates, 3 St. Louis area locations. Visit youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 Americans, resolved more than $2.3 billion in tax debt, and back every case with their ironclad resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
St. Louis is a baseball town, and the Gas House Gang talks Cardinals baseball. Ackerman, Ranji, Nicholas, and Claves bring informed opinions and real insight. Smart baseball talk from guys who truly know the game. And every Tuesday at noon, it's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol. Passion, knowledge, the best baseball talk in town. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon. We know baseball. KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:20. Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Frank Ladd, how's it look right now?
Well, we're still seeing delays headed towards downtown. Those eastbound Highway 44 lanes right at the Poplar Street Bridge are still blocked with an accident. This accident had been blocking all the lanes. Now it's just the right lane and right shoulder. So you've got delays on northbound Highway 55/eastbound 44 back to the Highway 44 merge. They cleared the crash up in North County westbound on Highway 270, crossing the Chain of Rocks Bridge. That's good. Looks like it's easing as well westbound on Highway 370, coming off the Highway 270 now. There, an earlier accident out of the way as well so far this morning. Our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route this morning, 270 northbound, not seeing any major delays north of Highway 55 up through Highway 44 and Highway 64. We have a new crash reported now eastbound on Highway 44 just past 141. Our next traffic update at 6:30. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Frank. We're going to have rain off and on today, a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon as well. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun. A high today, 74 degrees. Clearing tonight with an overnight low of 53. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm with a high of 79. We do have rain, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch.
A lot of ways to celebrate or commemorate Earth Day, but maybe you didn't think about a fashion show. Liberated Co-Creations is presenting Indisposable Spirit Sustains at St. Louis Earth Day Festival, which takes place every year in Forest Park. Joining me is the producer and creative director, Kimberly Franks. Thanks for being here, Kim. And Ahasa Jadu, who is the co-creative director and does communications.
Hello. Nice to be here.
For people who may be wondering, what does a fashion show have to do with Earth Day? I'll start with you, Kim.
For me, personally, fashion is a medium. I use fashion for storytelling.
And what about you, Ahasa? What do you think?
When we're thinking about fashion, we're thinking about clothing and fabrics. And so we're thinking about things that have been produced and the ways that things come into being produced and being consumed. We're now talking about sustainability. And we live in a society right now that is bent on consumption, but we're not always conscious about what we're consuming and how that thing came into being. And that has a lot of effects on just the life and the environments that we live amongst.
Anyone who is interested in sustainability or recycling knows that the fashion industry creates among some of the most waste in the world. I know the fashion industry is aware of that. So do you keep that in mind, Kim, as you're putting a show like this together?
Yeah. So, just kind of going back to connecting to what Ahasa said and how I see fashion and fashion shows as a medium for storytelling. This is our way of talking about it. And we're thinking about it. So, the fashion industry has thoughts in their approaches about sustainability, and there's a lot of efforts going on. But we, from the perspective of upcycle and vintage fashion, have a different approach that we're taking and showing that there's empowerment from this vantage point.
I know you have really built a brand, Kim, on vintage clothing. Are we going to see, is this fashion show about vintage, or is it about sort of taking other clothes and making new clothes, or what are people going to see?
Yes.
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above. They're going to see all of that. So we have designers and stylists that are using different techniques in the show. So you have some who are cut and sew, sustainable fashion designers. We have stylists who are working with vintage fashion. Traditionally, I come into the show as a stylist working aside designers, but I'm actually fabricating. I'm actually upcycling and creating garments this year.
It's about not being aimless. You wake up and you're putting on clothes. How often are we thinking about how the clothes got to our closet, why we chose this? Is there something else we could have chosen? So it's really about being conscientious about what we're doing and why. and it's beautiful to express yourself. The spirit of the show stays the same, but what is different is the formula. So Liberated Co-Creations is all about, as Kim has mentioned, just like the intersection of activism and creativity. And so in that case, there's an infinite amount of ways and paths that we can take to get somewhere. And so last year was Natural Consequences, and we had a formula for transformation that looked at the elements. This year, our formula of transformation uses the 6 R's of sustainability in order for us to get to a brand new way of living and engaging in the world. And so the formula of transformation in this show is new, but the spirit of getting to a better and a higher space is what remains.
I'm sure doing a fashion show outside is always a challenge because you are dependent on the weather, so fingers crossed. But for people who are interested, when they head to the St. Louis Earth Day Festival in Forest Park, what should they look for? When is the show and where?
So the festival takes place all weekend, Saturday and Sunday, from 11 to 5. The show itself takes place on Sunday at 1 o'clock, and so the festival is located on the grounds of the Muni. So out in front of the Muni, it's an outdoor event, and it's free and open to the public.
Well, it sounds fascinating, and I'm sure folks who saw it last year can't wait again. And if you haven't seen it, the Earth Day Festival again this weekend in Forest Park. This fashion show is Sunday at 1. It's Liberated Co-Creations presents Indisposable Spirit Sustains, and that is Kimberly Franks, the producer and co-creator, along with Ahasa Jadu. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's time for a $98 C tune-up.
By the way, the 6 R's of sustainability are reduce, reuse, refuse, repair, recycle, and rethink. It is 6:27, and that time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Considering buying or selling a home? When it comes to the Gelman team with eXp Realty, numbers don't lie. Over 1,500 Google and Zillow 5-star reviews, nearly 6,000 homes, and $2.5 billion in real estate sold. Call 314-336-1991, thegelmanteam.com.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
At Easy Cater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With Easy Cater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy? Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mirafiber gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mirafiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renters also hire experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
At 6:30, we do still have have some rain, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and here's Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, we had reports of a vehicle into the median in the construction zone, eastbound Highway 64 at Prospect. Use some caution in that stretch there. Not seeing a major slowdown. Still seeing those slowdowns into downtown, eastbound Highway 44. The crash is still there right at the Poplar Street Bridge on the right lane. So you're backed up to about the 55 merge now on eastbound Highway 44. Crash eastbound 44 just past 141. That one's reportedly in the right lane. And a crash southbound Highway 61 past Highway W. That has you backed up to John Creech Road. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we're going to have rain off and on today, especially popping up this afternoon. A high 74, clearing tonight with an overnight low of 53, and then mostly sunny for tomorrow, warm with a high of 79. We have rain 61 in Florissant, 60 in St. Peter's, 63 downtown at the Arch.
St. Louis officials keep warning the city's water system has hit a breaking point at a town hall meeting. Public Utilities Director Naresh Patel told residents that years of deferred maintenance led to 400 water main breaks last year alone. That's what's driving the push for an 18% rate hike.
I am responsible for the product that comes out at the end of the day of your taps that you ingest. It's the only utility that has that level of impact, and that's why the safety is number one.
The proposed plan would raise the average monthly residential bill by about $8 in 2026, another $8 in 2027 to fund a $720 million capital improvement plan.
A 73-year-old Richmond Heights man has died after two tires came off a semi-truck and hit his car. It happened yesterday afternoon around 2 o'clock on Interstate 64, just west of 270. The crash stalled traffic for a couple of hours. The driver of the semi was not hurt.
Remember that huge hole that opened up on an I-64 overpass in Illinois over the weekend? It's been repaired.
The only real clear indication that anything happened here is the pile of rubble, the concrete on the ground below that still remains from where the pothole opened up and the rest of the road that was chipped away before replacing it with the new concrete. And if you look up, you do see some new pieces of plywood to hold the concrete that was poured in place while it dried. I drove over the top of I-64, however, from the Poplar Street Bridge into Illinois just to see if you could get any kind of indication of where this hole once was. And there is no real sign that shows, yes, this is where the hole was, at least when you're driving over the top of it. In the Metro East, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Your Money Report is next. This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:33.
Love it when the playoffs roll around, especially in the NBA. And right now, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We are talking special drops you are not going to want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part, it happens every single day during the playoffs. So whether you're betting the early game or you're gearing up for prime time, just make sure to open the FanDuel app. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive, and you can see what's waiting for you today. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It is going on 6:34. This is Total Information AM. Let's get you caught up with your Money Minute from Bloomberg. It's sponsored for you by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Two tech giants are shedding jobs. Microsoft is said to be offering voluntary retirement to thousands of its workers. About 7% of its U.S. employees will be eligible for the buyouts. Meantime, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram cutting 10% of its workers. The layoffs will begin at Meta on May 20th. Big tech companies have been looking for ways to trim their expenses as they pour billions of dollars into artificial intelligence. Checking on your money, stocks are holding steady this Friday, with investors continuing to focus on geopolitics. Worries about oil and gas supplies continue to dominate. S&P futures are little changed. Dow futures are down 175 points. And Tesla has started to manufacture its Cybercab robotaxi. The two-door, two-seat sedan designed for ride-hailing was unveiled 2 years ago without a steering wheel or pedals, something which would require certain exemptions from regulators for mass production. No word on how much it will cost. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Here in St. Louis, we take pride in supporting our health and our community. That's why more and more families are turning to Neovitin multivitamins, created by a local physician and made right here in the U.S. using the highest quality domestic and international ingredients. With formulas for men, women, and adults 50 plus, Neovitin helps keep St. Louis families energized, supported, and ready for life. Find Neovitin at your local Dierbergs, Schnucks, and online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6. Right here on KMOX.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. legacybox.com/radio.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's 6:38. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX with Debbie Monterey. I'm Megan Lynch. In the news, Israel and Lebanon have announced an agreement to extend the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah for 3 weeks. The extension discussions involved ambassadors from both nations in the White House, where President Donald Trump disclosed the temporary deal.
The Justice Department charging a Special Forces member for allegedly betting big on the secret mission that had Americans invading Venezuela to seize Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Gannon Ken Van Dyke was stationed at Fort Bragg and is accused of using his preparation for the mission as the basis for betting on the effort before it was carried out.
The Trump administration has decided to move to reclassify medical marijuana. The decision to reclassify marijuana would represent one of the most significant federal changes to marijuana policy in decades, removing barriers to researching the drug's potential use cases.
Another big company cutting more jobs, this time Nike, the sneaker giant, reducing its workforce by about 1,400 workers or 2%, mostly in its technology department. In January, Nike cut 800 jobs after facing increased competition and sagging sales. Nike stock has plunged 30% so far this year. The company plans to focus its technology operations in 2 main hubs, at its Oregon headquarters and in India, and will move some of its Converse manufacturing operations closer to its factory partners. It's 6:39.
Well, the rain continues to fall. Let's see what kind of impact that's having on your drive into work this morning. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still seeing delays headed northbound on Highway 55, eastbound Highway 44, up to this ramp eastbound on Highway 44 at the Poplar Street Bridge. This crash still blocking the right lane there. That has you backed up, as I said, back to that merge between 55 and Highway 44. Out west, we got a crash westbound on Highway 70 at Forestel. That ramp to Forestel was completely blocked. They were working to get debris out of the way off the ramp due to an accident there. Looks like there's a vehicle in the ditch between the ramp and the outer road there on westbound Highway 70 at Forestel. So you've got a little bit of a backup approaching there, as all lanes at the highway were shut down for a brief period of time to get debris out of the way. Still dealing with that crash southbound 61 past Highway W. Still seeing backups approaching that scene. They cleared the crash eastbound on Highway 44 past 141. That's starting to open up as well. Our next traffic update at 6:50. Frank Ladd at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:40. Just looking out the window here to see if it's still raining in downtown St. Louis. Hard to tell. It's just kind of wet and gloomy right now. Our AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg has the latest on the forecast for us.
I'll confirm it's still raining. It's just kind of a murky, miserable, gloomy start to the day. Good news is it's not going to be like this all day long. I think the rain will come to an end probably around 8, 9 o'clock this morning, and then it'll dry out with clouds and breaks of sun. A stray shower or thunderstorm for the afternoon, but most of the time later today will be rain-free to high 74. It clears out tonight and dries out. A little cooler, too, down to 53. With sunshine tomorrow, it's the pick of the weekend with a high of 79. It's not bad Sunday, just not going to be as sunny. There'll be some clouds and some sun, the high 76. Now, Monday, that's not going to be a very nice start to next week. The wind will pick up, lots of clouds, and a gusty wind that will produce showers and thunderstorms, and those thunderstorms could be severe. That includes flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging winds, and a threat for tornadoes. Monday's high 83. Some sunshine Tuesday, cooler, less humid, the high about 71. 60 at St. Peter's, 59 in Florissant, rain 62 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. I'll tell you who's hot going into a 3-game set tonight with the Mariners. That's straight ahead in sports.
More news now at 6:42. Missouri public health officials are reminding residents to be careful when handling wildlife. The health department says a bat with rabies was collected from a home in Kirkwood last week, marking the first positive rabies test in St. Louis County for the year. While a few bats test positive in the state every year, officials advise residents to be careful when handling any wildlife that's acting abnormally.
A lot of people believe it is safe to throw medications into our water system. It is not.
St. Louis County Police Department taking part in tomorrow's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Between 10 and 2 tomorrow, you can drop off any unwanted, unused prescription medications at virtually any police precinct. Melody Quinn with the Bureau of Drug Enforcement says the event serves as a reminder to residents of what not to do.
We try to remind people not to flush them down the toilet, not to throw them down the sink. A lot of people don't understand that all of our water is connected, and it is very hard to get prescription medications out of our water supply.
April is Stress Awareness Month. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer has some suggestions for anyone who is chronically stressed.
People who experience chronic stress say it affects virtually every part of their body. But why is that?
Chronic stress has been associated not only with mental health challenges, but also physical health challenges, because it's a lot of wear and tear, not only on our mind, but our body when we are in a chronically hypervigilant state.
That's Dr. Erica Rutledge, psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions. She says prolonged stress can cause issues beyond bad sleeping, eating, or exercise habits. In some cases, she says, it can heighten those issues.
A lot of times when we get more stressed, we have more trouble sleeping. And then sometimes people have different stress reactions where either they will eat less or they'll start eating more. And so there becomes, this really hard cycle to balance.
Rutledge says that anyone struggling with high stress levels can manage it through things like reducing their daily tasks, focusing on building good eating or sleep habits, or seeing a health provider. If those options feel overwhelming, Rutledge advises to start small by integrating one change into your day.
Start small. Sometimes we get super ambitious. Just focus on one thing that can be doable in your current routines.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Your zip code could impact your child's mental health. I'm Cooper Lawrence, health and wellness expert, and this is all well and good. Where a child grows up might matter more than we once thought. A new study published in Pediatric Investigation looked at the mental health of nearly 20,000 kids aged 6 to 16. Turns out where a child grows up doesn't just affect their lifestyle, it actually shapes the kind of mental health struggles they're likely to face. Kids in rural areas tend to have emotional issues like depression, whereas city kids are more likely to have behavioral problems like ADHD. Rural kids may be quietly struggling on the inside, urban kids are acting out. It's a reminder that mental health care needs to meet kids where they actually live. These are important findings for a generation who really values mental health. I'm Cooper Lawrence, and this is All Well and Good.
It's the Cardinals and Mariners tonight at Busch Stadium. Who's hot, who's not is sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. Ivan Herrera may very well be starting to heat up. He's hitting near 300 over his last 7 games, and importantly, slugging near 600 in that time. He's got a pair of home runs, including the only run for the Redbirds in Wednesday's 4-1 loss at Miami.
Nice recovery for Ryan Fernandez to leave the bases loaded. And here's a swing and a long drive to left field, way back to the wall, and Lake Bacher gives up a home run on the first swing of the 9th inning, and it's a 3-run game in favor of Miami. Welcome to the game, Lake Bacher. The 3rd home run of the season for Ivan Herrera.
It's not been a great start for the Cardinals' weekend opponent, the Seattle Mariners. They're off to an 11-15 start to the season, and they rank near the bottom of the American League in offense. They're the 4th worst team in terms of runs scored in the American League, and their combined OPS as a team is .683, with only Boston and Kansas City ranking below them in the league. Tonight, it's a pair of right-handers in the opener of the 3-game set. Andre Palante, he's 2-1 with a 4.05 ERA for the Birds. He'll go up against George Kirby for the Mariners. Kirby is 3-2 with a 2.97 ERA. First pitch tonight is 7:15. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:20. The NFL draft got underway last night in Pittsburgh. To no one's surprise, Heisman Trophy winner and national champion Fernando Mendoza off the board at number 1 to the Las Vegas Raiders.
The last 5 months has been such a blessing by God, and I can't thank him enough. I'm just looking forward to get to work, prove at the next level. College was fantastic. I'm so blessed to have that career, but now I step into a great game of the NFL. Look forward to proving and earning it every single day.
That is Mendoza on ESPN after the pick. Texas Tech linebacker David Bailey went number 3 to the Jets, and then the CBC product and Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love, he goes 3rd to the Arizona Cardinals. Love also spoke after being picked 3rd overall.
I'm looking forward to get to work in Arizona, you feel me?
I feel you. You are the first running back to be taken in the top 5 since 2018. Why will your skill set translate to the NFL?
It's just a blessing, you know. I feel very honored to represent the running backs, and I'm going to put on for them. I'm going to put on for all football players. I'm going to put on for Notre Dame. I'm going to put on for my family. And lastly, I'm going to put on for the Cardinals. We're going to do some special things together.
Ohio State teammates were taken with the 4th and 5th picks. Wideout Carnell Tate went 4th to Tennessee, and linebacker Arvell Reese goes 5th to the Giants. The Buckeyes with 4 of the top 11 picks overall. Rounds 2 and 3 underway later tonight. Next sports update is at 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. Tom Ackerman for St. Louis Composting. I've been a customer for the last couple of years. We had mulch delivered to our home earlier this spring. It's already been spread. Now's the perfect time for that. The perfect time to refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. It is the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. St. Louis Composting has 9 retail locations all over the area. I didn't realize that when I first started talking about them. 9 locations all over the area, so there's one close to you. But you know what we did? We had the mulch delivered. You can just go to stlcompost.com. You can pick out the type of mulch you want. You can use their material calculator to figure out how much soil or mulch your project requires, and then they'll bring it to your home. STLcompost.com. St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. It's a great time to buy a brand new McKelvey home, and we have a great deal for you. Special closeout savings at Summerlin and Inverness in St. Charles on move-in ready market homes with savings of up to $124,000 with 4.75% financing. Select from ranch, 1.5 or 2-story McKelvey homes. Hurry before it's too late. Visit McKelveyhomes.com. Isn't it time to move up to McKelvey?
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads and where the problem spots are. Frank Ladd has more for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, let's start with the good news. All through lanes are back open now westbound on Highway 70 at Forestell. That ramp is still sort of jammed up as they work to get the vehicle out of the ditch off the ramp westbound Highway 70, but the delays are gone westbound 70, the through lanes. Still dealing with delays into downtown St. Louis, northbound Highway 55. Those delays start near the brewery, headed up towards Highway 44, the merge with 44 up to the Poplar Street Bridge. Eastbound Highway 44, the accident is right underneath the Poplar Street Bridge, one of the entrance or the exit ramps from the Poplar headed on to southbound 55. It's still blocking that right lane, though, so it's right underneath an overpass there. So use some caution as you're headed into the depressed section. Northbound on Highway 270 so far this morning, not bad. Make your way between 55 and 44. An earlier accident at 44 out of the way. A little off the pace northbound on Highway 270 approaching Manchester Road. And still dealing with that normal pocket of IM eastbound on Highway 64 approaching Lake St. Louis. There was an earlier crash at Prospect, which is out of the way. Our next traffic update at 6:58. This update is brought to you by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
All right, weather-wise, we will see some rain this morning, maybe a rumble of thunder. We'll have clouds today with a high of 74. Some breaks of sunshine this afternoon, but also maybe a shower or thunderstorm in spots. Tomorrow, though, just mostly sunny with a high of 79 degrees. It is currently 63 and rainy in downtown St. Louis.
The news continues at 6:52. Digital books are costing Illinois libraries a fortune. Lawmakers may be stepping in. Here's WBBM's Glenn Marshall.
Libraries across the state are paying up to 7 times more than consumers for the same ebooks and audiobooks, titles they license, not own, and must repurchase after a set number of checkouts. A bill that cleared the Illinois House without a single no vote would end that, barring publishers from overcharging libraries, imposing checkout limits, and restricting how many licenses they can buy. Publishers say it puts authors' livelihoods at risk, and libraries say it means more books, shorter wait times, and better service for patrons who can't afford to buy on their own. Connecticut already has a similar law on the books. Virginia, Massachusetts, and Hawaii are watching closely. Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
At last night's Today and Tomorrow Educational Foundation Gala, Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky himself announced to the crowd one result of the NFL draft. Jeremiah Love, former CBC standout and Notre Dame football player, was selected in the NFL draft in the first round, going to the Arizona Cardinals.
You know, we have some people who have made a national name for themselves. So Jeremiah Love is one of our scholars. He was our student speaker 3 years ago at this event in 2023.
That's Pete Cerrone, TTEF Executive Director. Love couldn't attend the gala last night, but made a video greeting, pledging to stay involved in the organization that helped him get where he is.
All the money raised tonight helps children attend private and parochial schools throughout the St. Louis region. And when it's not just St. Louis City, it's in some of the rural areas as well. We serve St. Louis City and then 10 surrounding counties.
The donations were still being tabulated last night, but Cerrone believes they raised more than $1 million.
The Midwest's oldest Earth Day festival coming to Forest Park this weekend. To mark its 37th year, the festival will be bringing back a beloved activity.
There was a very beloved aspect of the festival from its early years. It was called the All Species Parade, and so people would dress up as animals, and like the kids get involved, and so they're going to be doing that on Saturday morning at about 11.
Jessica Watson is the executive director of Earth Day 365, the nonprofit that puts on the festival. She says last year's festival brought more than 20,000 people, and with the warm weather this weekend, it could see record numbers.
It is 6:54.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, Forward and Back. Let's check birthdays for this Friday, April 24th. We've got a couple of singers, including this one. That, of course, singer Kelly Clarkson. She is 44 years old today. Actor, singer, filmmaker Barbara Streisand, 84. Shirley MacLaine, actress, 92. And Baseball Hall of Famer Chipper Jones is 54.
Local celebrity birthdays include Mary Lisa Pinilla, Owen Olsen from the Pupo Grupo, Olivia Winchell from the Spring family. Happy 9th anniversary to Michelle and Michael Spring. Happy 50th, Brian Werner from your volleyball friends. Bev Pfeiffer Harms, Mike Elam. Happy 62nd to Mike Heisey from the Houseboat Gang. And Misty Schwaller. She is like our employee of the year around here, I believe. Anyway, her husband sent in birthday wishes and said, say it's her 25th birthday. That would be great. So happy birthday to Misty.
This is the best birthday ever.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. Shop Wayfair's Wayday from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This week, buy one room of carpet, get one cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com. That's ZeroResSTL.com. Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads now. Frank Ladd has the update from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're dealing with delays headed towards the Poplar Street Bridge northbound on Highway 55. Those delays start back near the brewery in the Soulard area south of 44 and extend up to eastbound Highway 44. The crash is on eastbound Highway 44 under an entrance ramp from the Poplar Street Bridge on to southbound 55. It's still blocking that right lane, so that's the stop-and-go stretch headed northbound there. Northbound on 270, not bad this morning between 55 and 44. Delay-free up through to Highway 64 as well. Coming in from St. Charles County, pretty good runs eastbound on Highway 64. You've got your normal slowdown passing Lake St. Louis. East of there, a great run headed towards the Boone Bridge. Eastbound Highway 70, not bad, headed to the Blanchette Bridge. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday. It is the 24th of April. I'm Debbie Monterey.
I'm Sean Malone. Coming up, I've got the latest on the pothole repair on I-64 in the Metro East.
I'm Megan Lynch.
Once again, it's time for those 4 magic words.
Six Flags is open! But this year is going to be different. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. We'll start off with clouds this morning and some rain and a rumble of thunder. Some sun later today with a spotty shower or thunderstorm on I-74.
I'm Joe Podkard. Start a series at home tonight at Busch Stadium, and St. Louis City is on the pitch at Energizer Park tomorrow. More on that coming up in sports.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by DEA Take Back Day.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Emergency crews are spreading out this morning after tornadoes carved a path of destruction through parts of Oklahoma. Correspondent Jason Allen is in hard-hit Enid.
First responders went on a search and rescue mission overnight, combing through homes reduced to rubble.
There's a car that it just tossed. Oh, my gosh.
The same tornado sent chunks of roofs and cars flying into the air. At least 10 people were injured, according to the Garfield County emergency manager, and at least one person was taken to a hospital.
There are more severe weather threats for Oklahoma over the weekend. The prospect of rain in tinder-dry Georgia, slim to none. Heat and dry air are still spreading destructive wildfires there. Correspondent Mark Strassman reports from Waynesville.
Rural South Georgia is battling a pair of wildfires roughly 65 miles apart. Miraculously, no lives lost. But Bradley County's fire has incinerated more than 80 structures. Hundreds more are at risk.
President Trump says Israel and Lebanon have extended their ceasefire for another 3 weeks, but there's still no progress to report on a deal between the U.S. and Iran. CBS's Nancy Cordes is at the White House.
You know who's under time pressure? They are.
Trump acknowledged that the war has driven up gas prices, now to more than $4 a gallon on average in the U.S.
If you need more time, does that mean Americans should anticipate spending more on gasoline for the foreseeable future?
For a little while.
How long?
You know what they get for that? Iran without a nuclear weapon.
The White House says the president has just issued a 90-day extension of the Jones Act waiver to help stabilize fuel costs. It makes it easier for non-American ships to transport oil and natural gas during the war. The head of a major oil company expects airfares to keep rising.
In an interview for Sunday's Face the Nation on CBS, Chevron CEO Mike Wirth says the standoff with Iran over the Strait of Hormuz is causing jet fuel supply shortages.
The Middle East refiners are significant exporters of jet fuel, particularly to Europe, where 75% of Europe's imported jet fuel tends to come from those refineries. It's not flowing today.
Wirth says airlines will have to continue raising their airfares and cutting flights. Jet fuel prices are up more than 80% from a year ago. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
32 football players saw their dreams come true at last night's NFL draft. After a stunning season, it was no surprise for the number 1 pick. Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza tells ESPN.
Looking forward to get to work, prove at the next level. College was fantastic. I'm so blessed to have that career. But now I step into a great game of the NFL. Look forward to proving and earning it every single day.
He led Indiana to its first national championship and an undefeated season. This is CBS News.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, April 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
It is 7:04, and right now we do still have rain in the region. And it is 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. While city officials look to raise water rates, many residents say the current billing system is fundamentally broken. Households in the city are still billed based on a 1958 flat rate formula that counts rooms and toilets instead of actual water usage. Water Director Naresh Patel acknowledged during a Q&A at Booter Library this week that the lack of meters remains a source of frustration.
I get the frustration, especially given the fact that 80,000 customers in the city of St. Louis do not have water meters. And you are right. We do not know how much water a customer is using if there is no water meter.
Officials estimate it would cost up to $400 million to install meters citywide, a cost currently left to individual homeowners.
Clayco CEO Bob Clark was highly critical of two aspects of St. Louis city government ahead of his London dinner with Mayor Spencer and the St. Louis Coalition.
Last week, before the Armory Data Center's approval, Bob Clark called the charter and the Board of Aldermen dysfunctional, adding they need to be more pro-data center.
A city that has such economic hardship, not bending over backwards to try to figure out how to get an economic engine like a data center in their community.
Alderman Rasheen Aldridge isn't concerned about the criticism coming from an ally of the mayor, but says Clark has his facts wrong and those comments hurt development.
We've passed multiple bills when it comes to tax incentives to helping developers and have never held one back. So maybe he's getting his facts from ChatGPT.
The spokesperson for Mayor Spencer declined KMOX's request for comment. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's 7:06. Stress seems to be a way of life for many of us in today's world.
April is Stress Awareness Month. But Dr. Erica Rutledge, psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions, says some amount of stress is healthy.
When we think about stress, sometimes we associate it with something negative, but actually some amount of stress is good because it can keep us motivated.
However, Rutledge says stress usually becomes an issue when it starts to have prolonged effects, which can lead to mental and physical illnesses if not dealt with over a long period of time.
Now, when it's something that has no end date, that will be something where you really have to kind of investigate your life and routines and see, is there something else I need to switch?
She says indicators someone is stressed include issues with habits such as sleep, food, and exercise, which, interestingly enough, are also examples of things people can do to mitigate their stress.
I would say just focus on one thing, right? And integrate it into your current routines.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Six Flags St. Louis opens this weekend, and for a lot of St. Louisans, this one hits differently.
Once again, it's time for those 4 magic words.
Six Flags is open!
New owner Enchanted Parks is expected to rebrand the park next year, making this the last full season under a name St. Louisans have known for more than half a century.
Gonna take you to the top, let's go Six Flags, and get ready for the drop, let's go.
The park is marking the occasion by celebrating its own history. The Screamin' Eagle turns 50 this season and is getting new nighttime lighting and a throwback button giveaway over the opening weekend. The park itself turns 55 in June with special programming the 5th through the 7th. The Screamin' Eagle in particular is expected to be a roller coaster of emotion for parents sharing memories from their own childhoods with their kids. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Later today, Michael is speaking with the CEO of Enchanted Park, so stay tuned to KMOX to hear what he has to say.
From the KMOX Business Desk, a major milestone today for the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum. It's marking its 100,000th visitor since reopening in November 2022. The celebration moment with students from Rogers Middle School in Afton this afternoon.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips.
Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting, the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm fixing to tell you something that the insurance industry does not want you to ever hear. Bullies often delay and deny. I see them sitting on premiums paid and making money and dragging it out for as long as they can. Many times, we're forced to take them to court. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Their high-paid lobbyists are on a mission to make sure that at trial, jurors are not allowed to learn that the at-fault party has insurance, and in some cases, lots of it. I can think of no case in all my years where there was no insurance for the at-fault party. So let's fight back. It's all these bullies understand. Tell everybody you know the truth. If you've been injured in a car crash or hurt at a store or business, visit forthepeople.com. We're here 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
Curative, that's a complex decision that involves what we call multidisciplinary care. So that involves a surgeon, a medical oncologist, radiation oncologist. So you need the expertise, and that's something that we have here at Siteman, especially geared for these esophageal cancer patients.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Visit siteman.washu.edu.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 7:10. Let's get you caught up on your ride-in and the weather as well. It's pretty gloomy out there right now. And keep in mind, as you're leaving the house, there are going to be wet roads, maybe some standing water. Let's get the latest from Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, and a handful of accidents. We're working with a new one now, eastbound on Highway 44, just past Shrewsbury, the Shrewsbury exit there. The two left lanes are blocked with this accident, so you've got a little bit of a delay back before Shrewsbury, headed up to the accident scene. We're still dealing with this crash downtown St. Louis. It's eastbound on Highway 44, underneath the Poplar Street Bridge. So that's where you're going to see the delays starting on northbound Highway 55, approaching the Poplar Street Bridge. This accident still blocking just pulling away right now. So that's the good news. All lanes back open, eastbound Highway 44 at the Poplar Street Bridge. Still seeing those delays northbound on Highway 55 back towards Arsenal. East and westbound 64 through the city are a pretty good run this morning. Not seeing delays through the road construction zone northbound on Highway 55 this morning. We do have pockets of volume northbound on Highway 270 now, passing Tesson Ferry and Gravois. After that, you open up wide open, headed up towards 44 and Manchester Road. Our next traffic update at 7:20. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. It'll be cloudy for a while this morning with some rain and even a rumble of thunder, but the clouds should break for a little sun this afternoon with a spotty shower or thunderstorm. Our high today 74. Gradual clearing tonight, low 53. More sunshine tomorrow and pleasantly warm in the afternoon, high 79. Clouds and some sunshine Sunday, high 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do still have rain around the area. 61 degrees in Florissant, 60 in St. Peter, 61 downtown at the Arch.
And the Cardinals are back home tonight as they start a long stretch of games. I've got those details coming up in sports.
The news continues at 7:12. One person is dead after a hit and run in Dutchtown. Police say they got the call for a pedestrian crash in an alleyway off South Grand and Itasca around 11:15 last night. Our partners at Fox 2 report the driver of the vehicle left the car and left the scene after hitting and killing the pedestrian. Police are currently searching for that suspect and have not released the victim's name.
A 73-year-old Richmond Heights man has died after two tires came off a semi-truck and hit his car. It happened yesterday around 2 p.m. on Interstate 64 just west of 270. The crash stalled traffic for a couple of hours. The driver of the semi was not injured.
In other road news, that hole that opened up on I-64 east of the Poplar Street Bridge has been repaired.
Well, I drove across the spot where the pothole had opened up and you could see down to the underpass below, and there is no seeing down to the underpass below anymore. And now, having returned to that underpass where I was a couple of days ago, This is where you can find the only indications that there was a hole that had opened up on I-64. There's a pile of rubble that remains covering the sidewalk here. There's some fresh plywood that was applied to the underneath of the bridge to hold the wet concrete as it dried when it was poured by IDOT crews. But driving over the top of it, completely open, and there's no indication that there ever was a gaping hole that opened up on the interstate. In the Metro East, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
An Earth Day festival coming to Forest Park this Saturday and Sunday. Aside from the more than 207 vendors that will be there, activities at the festival include bird shows put on by the World Bird Sanctuary, a sustainable fashion show, and even drills for kids put on by St. Louis SC players.
We have a reuse station run by City Sewing Room where they'll teach you how to mend your own clothes or quilt or things like that, which is actually powered by a solar array this year for their sewing machines. We're really excited about that.
That's Jessica Watson, Executive Director of Earth Day 365, the nonprofit that puts on the festival. She says they were able to convert 96% of the waste from last year's festival, and the goal this year is to hit 100%.
Vintage fashions, new styles made from old materials. The fashion show Sunday at the St. Louis Earth Day Festival explores sustainability.
We're thinking about the ways that things come into being produced and being consumed. We're now talking about sustainability, and we live in a society right now that is bent on consumption, but we're not always conscious about what we're consuming and how that thing came into being.
That's Ahassa Jadou, co-creative director of the show Indisposable Spirit Sustains. The fashion industry is a major polluter and the second biggest consumer of water. This show is guided by the 6 R's of sustainability: reduce, reuse, refuse, repair, recycle, and rethink. That fashion show is at 1 on Sunday. It's 7:15.
Well, the Cardinals are set to start a long stretch of 17 games with no off days. So they open a 3-game series tonight with the Mariners at Busch Stadium. Cards coming off a series loss at Miami, but a 4-2 road trip overall. Cardinals themselves 14-10 for the season. Mariners 11-15, and that's the only club that the Cards are going to face with a losing record over this 2-week-plus stretch of games. Tonight, Andre Pallante makes the start for the Redbirds. He is 2-1 with a 4.05 ERA. He's coming off a win Saturday on the road at Houston, where he worked 5 innings. He allowed a run, 3 hits, and struck out 5.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. A fastball up. Strikes out Altuve for the second time tonight. That's the 4th strikeout for Pallante.
And that is our cut of the game. The cut of the game is sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. It was Pallante's first win since his first start of the year. That came against the Mets at Busch Stadium in March. He's worked exactly 5 innings in each of his 4 starts so far this year. And he'll be opposed by righty George Kirby. Kirby's 3-2 with a 2.97 ERA. 5 starts so far this year. He has struck out 27 in 33 innings. He's coming off a Saturday win against Texas, where he gave up a run over 5 1/3 innings. First pitch tonight is set for 7:15. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 6:20. St. Louis City is back at home tomorrow. They're looking to get back on the winning track. While the team took a loss at Seattle last weekend, Jen Cease tells us there was much more to that game than just the result on the pitch.
St. Louis City SC may not have gotten the result in Seattle, but the Knights still delivered a powerful moment for the club. Midfielder Edward Lubin made his return to the pitch for the first time this season, subbing on late and scoring in stoppage time for City's only goal. Head coach Juan DeMay says the moment meant something bigger than the scoreline.
It's brilliant to have him back. He gets his first minute, gets on the score sheet as well, puts everything in perspective. The guys have been amazing in terms of the support they've given him. The feeling is very good to have him back with us.
And for his teammates like center back Timo Baumgartel, it meant even more.
I mean, honestly, it was the best of this day. We're so glad to have him back after this terrible time for him. He's a role model, honestly. He shows how life can treat someone and how he can bounce back, and it's given me goosebumps to have him back. He helps us as a player, but most of all, he helps us as a human being, and that's amazing.
A bright moment in a tough result, and one City hopes to carry forward as they're back home this weekend to host San Jose. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Kickoff tomorrow is 7:30 at Energizer Park, and you can catch that game on our sister station, Y98. Our next sports update is 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of KMOX, and right now, new customers to FanDuel can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. That's right, $5, get $400 in bonus bets if the first bet wins. From player props on all your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. It's all right there on the FanDuel app, which is super easy to use. It is intuitive, and it is a lot of fun. Don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel, official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX. Now the news. At 9, the talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Megan Lynch and Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news. They cleared both the crashes. The first one is eastbound on Highway 44 at Shrewsbury. So that one's out of the way. All lanes back open there, easing back into the normal speeds eastbound on Highway 44. Brief crash eastbound on Highway 70 at Shreve. That one's out of the way. Did have the left lane blocked, so there was a bit of a slowdown there. They pulled away. The bumper is still there in the left shoulder, though. All lanes are back open. As I said, the last update, eastbound Highway 44 underneath the Poplar Street Bridge. Those delays are easing, headed northbound on Highway 55. And you just have pockets of volume now northbound on Highway 270 between 44 and between 55 and Highway 44, and then back on the brakes again in a slow stretch north of Doherty Ferry. Make your way up towards Manchester Road and the Highway 64 interchange. Eastbound 70, eastbound Highway 64, essentially delay-free coming in from St. Charles County to St. Louis County. Our next traffic update at 7:30. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still have rain downtown. It looks like we're going to have rain and thunderstorms pop up throughout the day. A high today, 74 degrees. Clearing tonight with an overnight low of 53. For tomorrow, sunny and pleasant, high of 79. And Sunday, another nice day, a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 76. Right now, as we said, rain, 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
The news continues at 7:22. The windows of a downtown St. Louis office tower have been shot out for the fourth time this year. 6 windows in the 15-story Peabody Plaza located at 701 Market were covered in plywood yesterday, according to the Business Journal. City police say the other shootings occurred at the same time as a variety of shootings broke out across the city on 314 Day, March 14th. The building has been fairly vacant for a while and is due to lose another tenant as public coal firm Peabody Energy is moving to West County soon.
An East St. Louis man will spend the rest of his life in prison for a murder-for-hire killing in Collinsville. 46-year-old Gary Johnson, sentenced in the shooting death of Portia Rowland outside her home in January of 2025. Prosecutors say he was paid $10,000 to kill her.
Evidence showed Rowland was in a relationship with the wife of co-defendant Sammy Schaefer, who was going through a divorce. 2 co-defendants remain in Madison County Jail awaiting trial. Johnson Also has a prior first-degree murder conviction going back to 1997 in St. Clair County.
A purge of leadership at the Pentagon drawing sharp condemnation from a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, criticizing Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth for what she calls a, quote, weak and incompetent approach to military management.
They are not listening to competent military leadership. And then when you have someone who actually speaks up and said, hey, I don't agree with you, they fire you.
The senator's comments on MS Now come amid reports of blocked promotions for high-ranking officers and the dismissal of officials who questioned the administration's planning and approach in the Middle East.
Hundreds of thousands of Illinois residents could lose their food stamp benefits starting May 1st, and the Greater Chicago Food Depository is looking to help fill the void.
One meal we provide, SNAP provides 9. So that tells you how much assistance will be lost.
New federal work requirements, part of President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, took effect February 1st. Adults between 18 and 64 without dependents under age 14 must now work, volunteer, or attend school at least 80 hours a month to keep SNAP benefits. Recipients get just 3 months of benefits over a 3-year period before losing access entirely. Cameron Matson with the Greater Chicago Food Depository says food insecurity is expected to skyrocket.
The current estimates is that 150,000 SNAP participants throughout Illinois are on track to lose their benefits starting May 1st.
Matson says the depository is looking to prepare those who are at risk of losing their benefits.
We are looking to our partners, our generous donors and volunteers and advocates who have stood with us historically over the years to really step up and be there for their neighbors.
Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
Illinois school officials appear to have found a way to beat the nationwide school bus driver shortage. After mass retirements during the pandemic, Illinois school districts were left with a bus driver shortage. School officials are partnering with the Secretary of State to make the hiring process easier. While some people worry relaxing hiring requirements might decrease school bus safety, Jen Schweikert, a reporter with Capital News Illinois, says officials disagree.
The guidelines that they actually changed were really about safety. It was more about expanding access, letting more people get hired, letting more people get trained, but they still have the same kind of knowledge and abilities that they did before they changed these guidelines.
Schweikert says the changes are already putting a dent in shortage numbers.
Last night at the Archbishop's Today and Tomorrow Educational Foundation Gala.
I mean, yeah, we're over $1 million for sure.
That's TTEF Executive Director Pete Cerrone talking about money raised for scholarships for parochial and private schools. This year, more than 5,500 students are attending school on TTEF scholarships, but the audience particularly interested in the former keynote speaker from 3 years ago, Jeremiah Love.
He received the Today and Tomorrow Scholarship in order to attend Most Holy Trinity from 2nd grade all the way through 8th grade. He's passionate about the organization. He stayed connected to the organization, and it's wonderful when you have great spokespeople like Jeremiah Love telling the good news that Today and Tomorrow's making in the community, but also that people who are investing in scholarships are making in the lives of children.
The former CBC standout and Notre Dame football player couldn't attend last night's gala because it was the NFL draft, but he did record a video greeting. In the first round, Love was the 3rd pick overall by the Arizona Cardinals.
It's now 7:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
In 1991, John and Cindy Morelli started Morelli Tuck Pointing. As of today, they've won just about every award possible for the tuck pointing business. The BBB Torch Award, the Next Door Neighborhood Fave Award, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. For homeowners, this is a great time to get a free inspection of your basement, your brick or stone fireplace, your garage interior, your porch, and maybe even your walkway. Indoor tuck pointing can be started now. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. My wife Beth and I have used Morelli Tuck Pointing to work on 2 of our homes now over the last 25 years. We have found the Morelli bids to be fair. Their crews are very polite, and they clean up after themselves. But most importantly, their work is beautiful. Family owned and operated since 1991. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Let's talk about Air Medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life and death. Arch Air Medical Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected, out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
At 7:30, we do have some light rain, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and this is Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, at this point in the morning, this is good news. We are currently incident-free. We've gotten most of the accidents out of the way. That last one, eastbound 44 at Shrewsbury, is gone, as is the one eastbound 44 underneath the Poplar Street Bridge. You've got volume now north of Highway 44 on northbound 270 up to looks like Manchester Road and Highway 64. You're going to see that pocket of volume starting to form westbound on Highway 70, passing Forest, westbound on Highway 64, passing Forest Park, headed up to McCausland. Essentially delay-free into downtown St. Louis. No problems to report. Westbound Highway 70, westbound Highway 55, 64, crossing the bridges. Good runs in from St. Charles County, eastbound on Highway 70 and eastbound on Highway 64 now at this point in the morning. Our next traffic update at 7:40. Frank Ladd of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we're going to have periods of rain, possibly thunderstorms throughout the day today. We may see a little bit of sun, a high 74 degrees, clear tonight, an overnight low of 53. Right now, 61 downtown at the Arch.
As the city of St. Louis weighs the future of its water system, officials are emphasizing the distinction between public service and private profit. Special Assistant Spencer Gould told a crowd at the Booter Library branch this week that unlike corporate utilities in the country, St. Louis City Water remains a municipally owned asset where every dollar stays within the city.
Every single person who works for the water division, myself, Neeraj, our customer service staff you may have seen come in, they are City of St. Louis employees. Our salaries are public. We are public servants, and we do this because we like doing this.
The Water Division is proposing raising rates by 18%.
The former police chief and city administrator of Velda City, Missouri, is now sentenced to 27 months in prison. The move comes after 52-year-old Daniel Paulino pleaded guilty in November to 2 counts of wire fraud. It's in connection to stolen city funds worth more than $300,000. Velda City Mayor Derek Gill says the financial strain of Paulino's theft had on the city contributed to the police department's dissolution in 2024.
A mail theft ring that stole millions of dollars worth of checks from local collection boxes unraveled in federal court. 5 people have now admitted to their roles, including using stolen arrow keys to break into mail collection boxes in Ladue and Frontenac. A search of an Airbnb on Chippewa Street turned up hundreds of stolen checks totaling more than $2.2 million in face value, along with check writing software. 4 members have already been sentenced to prison. A 5th pleaded guilty yesterday and faces sentencing in July.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:33.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
It's 7:35. Time for your money report. It is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Two tech giants are shedding jobs. Microsoft is said to be offering voluntary retirement to thousands of its workers. About 7% of its U.S. employees will be eligible for the buyouts. Meantime, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram cutting 10% of its workers. The layoffs will begin at Meta on May 20th. Big tech companies have been looking for ways to trim their expenses as they pour billions of dollars into artificial intelligence. Checking on your money, stocks are holding steady this Friday, with investors continuing to focus on geopolitics. Worries about oil and gas supplies continue to dominate. S&P futures are little changed. Dow futures are down 175 points. And Tesla has started to manufacture its Cybercab robotaxi. The two-door, two-seat sedan designed for ride-hailing was unveiled 2 years ago without a steering wheel or pedals, something which would require certain exemptions from regulators for mass production. No word on how much it will cost. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
oh boy, it's snowing.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Seliga Heating and Cooling.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. Ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
More news now at 7:38. Damage assessment teams will be scouring hard-hit communities in Oklahoma and Kansas at first light following the latest round of violent weather. In northern Oklahoma, homes were destroyed in the hard-hit community of Enid following a series of tornadoes. KWTV-TV's meteorologist Megan Gold says Enid experienced a likely EF3 hovering on the ground for the better part of 40 minutes.
We know there was extensive damage in the town of Enid. Our hearts are broken, and last night will absolutely go down in the history books for the state and for the town and the community of Enid.
Israel and Lebanon announcing an agreement to extend the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah for 3 weeks. The extension discussions involved ambassadors from both nations and the White House, where President Trump disclosed the temporary deal.
The Justice Department has charged a special forces member for allegedly betting big on the secret mission that had Americans invading Venezuela to seize President Nicolas Maduro. Gannon Ken Van Dyke was stationed at Fort Bragg and is accused of using his preparation for the mission as the basis for betting about the effort before it was carried out.
The Trump administration has decided to reclassify marijuana. That decision to reclassify the drug would represent one of the most significant federal changes to marijuana policy in decades, removing barriers to researching the drug's potential use cases.
Nike cutting more jobs. The sneaker giant reducing its workforce by about 1,400 workers. That's 2%, mostly in its technology department. In January, Nike cut 800 jobs after facing increased competition and sagging sales. Nike stock has plunged 30% so far this year. The company plans to focus its technology operations in 2 main hubs, at its Oregon headquarters and in India, and will move some of its Converse manufacturing operations closer to its factory partners.
Let's get you caught up on your ride in and the weather. Are things brightening up? I'm not sure. It's still looking pretty gray out there. Let's get the latest on the roadways from Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, I'm looking at a very gray-tuned camera, or gray-tinged camera, I should say, northbound on Highway 55 at the Highway 44 split there. Looks like there is a vehicle up against the center median wall, so use some caution as the passenger side tires might be out in a traffic lane on northbound 55 right at 44. Drivers are making their way around it pretty quickly, though. Westbound on Highway 64, you're on the brakes now, passing Forest Park in a couple pockets. Southbound 170 starting to fill in just a little bit now, headed towards Highway 64. This is the first bit of a slowdown northbound on Highway 55, approaching the roadwork zone near the river to Paris. So that's a little new something to pay attention to going on this morning. And we've got volume northbound on Highway 270 between 55 and Gravel. You're back on the brakes again between Big Bend, Manchester, headed up towards Clayton Road overpass into downtown St. Louis. Not bad this morning, westbound 5564, crossing the Poplar. Our next traffic update at 7:50. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have rain today. Let's see what the weekend is going to be like. We check in now with AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Megan. I think the weekend will be generally pretty good weather-wise. It's not so good right now with this rain falling, but it will be lightening up over the next hour or so. And then the late morning and afternoon hours, largely rain-free with the exception of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. There'll also be some breaks of sun, just not as warm as it was yesterday, our high 74. Clears out tonight, we'll bottom out in the low to mid-50s, but tomorrow with sunshine, it's hands down the pick of the weekend, the high 79. Even Sunday's not going to be that bad with just more clouds around, the high 76. I think any showers or thunderstorms will hold off until sometime Sunday night. Monday, though, not going to be very nice. An approaching storm system will bring us a gusty wind, more humidity, warmth, our high 83, and showers and thunderstorms. Those thunderstorms could be severe with hail, damaging winds, flooding downpours, and a risk of tornadoes. Again, that's Monday into early Monday night. Tuesday, behind that feature, partly sunny, not as warm, less humid, the high 71. Still some light rain and 60 at St. Peter's, 59 at Florissant, 61 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. We will hear from St. Louis and Jeremiah Love after he was drafted last night. That's coming up in sports.
The Pentagon has fired the ombudsman for the military newspaper Stars and Stripes.
In her latest column, Jacqueline Smith wrote the Defense Department gave her no reason for her dismissal. She had been raising concerns to Congress about the Pentagon threatening the paper's independence. The Pentagon has announced it will refocus Stars and Stripes content away from what it called woke distractions that siphon morale and would ban the paper from printing any stories or cartoons from commercial media. Smith says troops deserve to have unfiltered news, not what the Defense Department wants them to hear. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The experts looking into travel trends say the time is now to book your summer vacation. The high prices for flights, hotels, and food are not expected to go down anytime soon. We get more from CBS News senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Leaving Denver for Baltimore, Erica McHenry is feeling the sting of rising summer airfare.
Hopefully this issue can be resolved and things can get back to normal, so I might postpone and wait a little bit longer instead of trying to buy in the middle of this issue.
The surging price of jet fuel has driven domestic flights up about 18% compared to last year. That means you're paying about $55 more per trip.
The 2026 NFL Draft got underway in Pittsburgh Thursday night, and it kicked off the way pretty much everyone expected.
No major surprise when it came to the top overall selection.
With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, courtesy of ESPN. The Jets took Texas Tech edge David Bailey with the second pick. The Cardinals chose Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love at number 3. There are 257 picks in all, and we'll have to wait until Saturday to find out who'll be this year's Mr. Irrelevant. Barring any trades, the Denver Broncos have the final pick of the 7th round. Erica Herskowitz for CBS News.
March Madness, traditionally one of the biggest betting events nationwide, but how did Missouri's online sports betting do? Michael Lira, executive director of the Missouri Gaming Commission, says
the numbers will be north of $2 million we received from the month of March. It's not official yet. They're still fine-tuning those results. So obviously it's not quite, but almost twice as much as we received from February wagering. So obviously March Madness had an impact.
Lira tells Missouri Net the state is meeting expectations in year one, with online sports betting projected to generate between $25 and $30 million in revenue.
The Redbird Recap is sponsored by Helitech Waterproofing and Foundation Repair. Heal your home with Helitech.
After an off day yesterday, the Cardinals are back at home tonight. They are going to open up a weekend series against the Seattle Mariners. Cardinals just got done with a road trip where they went 4-2. That included a 3-game series sweep of the Houston Astros. The pitching matchup tonight, the Cardinals have Andre Pallante on the mound. He enters with a 2-1 record of 4.05 ERA. He's coming off a 7-5 win against Houston on Saturday, where he gave up 1 run in 5 innings. This will be his first ever appearance against the Mariners. George Kirby will go for Seattle. He's 3-2 with a 2.97 ERA. He's won his last 2 starts, has a 1-0 record with a 4.50 ERA over his 2 previous starts that he has had against the Cardinals. Back at Busch Stadium tonight, it is a 7:15 first pitch. That means our coverage is set to begin at 6:20. For the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network, I'm Matt Pauley.
Well, the NFL drafts got underway last night, as you probably heard, in Pittsburgh. And to no one's surprise, Heisman Trophy winner and national champion Fernando Mendoza first off the board to the Las Vegas Raiders.
The last 5 months has been such a blessing by God, and I can't thank him enough. I'm just looking forward to get to work, prove it at the next level. College was fantastic. I'm so blessed to have that career. But now I step into a great game of the NFL. Look forward to proving and earning it every single day.
That's Mendoza on ESPN after the pick. Texas Tech linebacker David Bailey goes number 2 to the Jets. And then the CBC product and Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love goes 3rd to the Arizona Cardinals. He also spoke after being picked 3rd overall.
I'm looking forward to get to work in Arizona, you feel me?
I feel you. You are the first running back to be taken in the top 5 since 2018. Why will your skill set translate to the NFL?
It's just a blessing, you know. I feel very honored to represent the running backs, and I'm going to put on for them. I'm going to put on for all football players. I'm going to put on for Notre Dame. I'm going to put on for my family. And lastly, I'm going to put on for the Cardinals. We're going to do some special things together.
St. Louis City is back at home tomorrow night. Jen Cease has another City Spotlight.
St. Louis City SC is regrouping after a 4-1 loss in Seattle, where 2 nearly identical first-half corner kicks and an early second-half penalty changed the game. Center back Timo Baumgartel says the result came down to these few costly moments.
Honestly, we shot ourselves in the foot. These 3 key moments destroyed our game. I think set pieces, the first one can happen. The second one is not possible because it's 2 times the same.
Baumgartel says the team has already addressed those mistakes and is confident in the response.
It's a learning point for us as a team. We're in a development, and not every development goes straight up. It's always like, I don't know how to say that, but step back to get to
1 step forward.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I mean.
2 steps back.
Now we have it. That's what we're looking for, and we want to have a bounce back on Saturday.
City's back home this weekend to host San Jose. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Kickoff tomorrow is 7:30 at Energizer Park, and you can hear that game, as always, on our sister station, Y98. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Save big money in outdoor storage when you shop at Menards. Suncast sheds have the storage space you need for any backyard. Whether you're protecting bikes and toys or sorting yard tools, Suncast's selection of durable, low-maintenance outdoor sheds come in a variety of styles and sizes to fit your needs. Pick up an in-stock Suncast storage shed today and check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all our great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Don't miss the Route 66 Centennial Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Bring back memories of the Mother Road's stunning natural scenery and roadside attractions, and explore its complex history and impacts on communities across the region. Featuring a concert by Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, food trucks, lectures, kids' crafts, and more. All activities are free. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads this morning. Frank Ladd has the latest for us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, crews worked quickly to clear a crash northbound on Highway 270 north of Highway 55. It had been blocking the left lane. All those lanes are back open now, traffic moving freely through that stretch. I just watched emergency vehicles respond to a crash on southbound Highway 270 at the ramp to Highway 55. So use some caution there. That ramp is starting to stack up into the through lanes on southbound Highway 270 now, headed south of the Tees Road overpass. Still dealing with that stall northbound on Highway 55 just before Highway 44. That left shoulder and left lane still remain partially blocked there. So use some caution coming around the bend, headed towards Highway 44. North of there, headed into downtown, not bad now on northbound 55. You do have a pocket of volume westbound on 64, passing Forest Park at about the Hampton overpass, headed out to the Tam Avenue overpass, back up to speed, making your way out towards Big Bend. Northbound on Highway 270, still sluggish in this rain now, from Tesson Ferry up through Gravois. Then again, you're back on the brakes north of 44 up through Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 7:58. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We could still see some rain this morning and maybe a rumble of thunder. We'll also see some breaks of sun this afternoon and also maybe a shower or thunderstorm in spots, a high of 74 degrees. But it should clear out overnight, and by tomorrow, just mostly sunny and 79 degrees. Currently in downtown St. Louis, we still have a little bit of rain. It's 62 degrees.
More news now at 7:52. Missouri public health officials are reminding residents to be careful when handling wildlife. The health department says a bat with rabies was collected from a home in Kirkwood last week. It marks the first positive rabies test in St. Louis County this year. While a few bats test positive in the state every year, officials do advise residents to be careful when handling any wildlife that's not acting normal.
April is Stress Awareness Month. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer has some suggestions for those who are chronically stressed.
People who experience chronic stress say it affects virtually every part of their body. But why is that?
Chronic stress has been associated not only with mental health challenges, but also physical health challenges, because it's a lot of wear and tear, not only on our mind, but our body when we are in a chronically hypervigilant state.
That's Dr. Erica Rutledge, psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions. She says prolonged stress can cause issues beyond bad sleeping, eating, or exercise habits. In some cases, she says, it can heighten those issues.
A lot of times when we get more stressed, we have more trouble sleeping. And then sometimes people have different stress reactions where either they will eat less or they'll start eating more. And so there becomes, this really hard cycle to balance.
Rutledge says that anyone struggling with high stress levels can manage it through things like reducing their daily tasks, focusing on building good eating or sleep habits, or seeing a health provider. If those options feel overwhelming, Rutledge advises to start small by integrating one change into your day.
Start small. Sometimes we get super ambitious. Just focus on one thing that can be doable in your current routines.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Six Flags St. Louis opens this weekend. If you haven't been in a while, there's a reason to come back beyond the coasters.
Robin Hood was the people's only hope.
Remember the Robin Hood action adventure show? It ended in 2007. Sherwood's Forest Theater was torn down. For years, Six Flags gutted live entertainment at the St. Louis Park, also closing the Palace Theater as the chain cut costs. Well, that era appears to be over. This summer, the park is bringing back 8 live shows, the most in years, with performances at the reopened Palace Theater, at Miss Kitty's Saloon, at Hurricane Harbor, and even on the Steam Train. The lineup runs from a Wild West musical to a 90s pop show to a train heist experience. Park officials say guests have been asking for this. People want somewhere to sit, cool off, and actually be entertained. New owners Enchanted Parks are signaling this is what to expect from them after the Six Flags name goes away next year. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
And Michael will talk with the head of Enchanted Parks later today.
A pop-up cafe inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog is opening today in the Del Mar Loop. Sonic the Hedgehog Speed Cafe is located in the Nudo House, 6105 Del Mar. It'll be open every day from 11 to 9 for the next 2 months. The first 35 guests today and tomorrow will receive a special Sonic-themed prize.
We'll check traffic coming up in 2 minutes here on KMOX at 7:55.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims. And in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
If someone would have came to you at the beginning of the season, beginning of the regular season, and said, hey, Jordan Walker's going to have more home runs, more RBIs, a higher OPS, higher batting average than Shohei Ohtani, what would you say?
Then said, you're crazy.
I'll take it.
He's having an incredible season. He really, truly is.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Here is Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the left lane is now blocked northbound on Highway 55, approaching Highway 44 with this stalled vehicle. Emergency crews on the scene there. Still dealing with the vehicle at the ends of a crash northbound on Highway 270 at the Teach Road overpass, so it's over to the right side. Southbound Highway 270 at Highway 55. That accident is still there on the ramp to Highway 55 southbound from Highway 270 southbound. So we're seeing delays back towards Tesson Ferry now on southbound Highway 270. Northbound 270, just pockets of volume now at Gravois, back on the brakes again. Big Bend up through about Doherty Ferry and Manchester Road. Our next update at 8:10. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This is Friday, April 24th. I'm Megan Lynch. Coming up on Total Information AM next hour, antiques aren't just old stuff. After the news, a show promoter will talk about how they tell a story and connect people with memories.
At 8:24, we run down the top stories of the week, just in case you missed some.
And medical pot is now reclassified. We will go in depth.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A wet start to our Friday with some rain and a rumble of thunder. Breaks of sun later today with a stray shower or thunderstorm. Our high 74.
We may have had some storms roll through, but in Oklahoma, they had a pretty devastating tornado outbreak. We'll get the latest from CBS News coming up next.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The U.S. and Iran remained at a standoff over the Strait of Hormuz. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says America's not budging.
We have all the time in the world. Iran has a historic chance to make a serious deal, and the ball is in their court.
There's a new sign Iran may be ready to talk. The state-run news agency says the nation's foreign minister is heading to Pakistan right now for negotiations, which stalled this week. President Trump has extended a waiver for 3 months to make it easier for foreign ships to transport oil and natural gas.
The century-old law requires shipments between U.S. ports to use American-built and operated vessels. But the temporary waiver will allow foreign ships to transport fuel domestically. Administration officials say the move is meant to ease supply constraints and keep energy markets stable amid global tensions. Analysts say the extension could improve fuel distribution in the short term, though the effect on prices at the pump remains uncertain. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Oil prices are on the decline this morning. Brent crude's at about $105 a barrel. Average gas prices in the U.S. up a few cents from yesterday to $4.06 a gallon. Twisters ripped across the plains overnight.
Look at that. It's a satellite tornado. Good night.
Buildings were damaged and at least 10 people injured in Garfield County, Oklahoma. KWTV's Brianna Brown is in Enid.
This is possibly a vacant home, but you can see straight through this home now. The back half of the home, all the walls are completely destroyed, and the roof is destroyed here at this house.
More job cuts in the corporate world, this time at Nike.
The sneaker giant is reducing its workforce by about 1,400 workers, or 2%, mostly in its technology department. In January, Nike cut 800 jobs. It's facing increased competition, and its sales have been sagging, especially in China. Nike's stock has plunged 30% so far this year. The company plans to focus its technology operations in 2 main hubs, at its Oregon headquarters and in India, and will move some of its Converse manufacturing operations closer to its factory partners. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Worried about your blood sugar levels?
A Tufts University study found that for people with prediabetes, vitamin D could help prevent or delay the condition from developing into diabetes. More research is still needed, and too much vitamin D is potentially harmful.
CBS's Michael George. NASDAQ futures are up 319. Dow futures down 77. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
At 8:03, we still have a steady rain, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, April 24th. I'm Megan Lynch. While St. Louis city officials look to raise water rates, many residents say the current billing system is fundamentally broken. Households in the city are still billed based on a 1958 flat rate formula that counts rooms and toilets instead of actual water usage. Water Director Naresh Patel acknowledged during a Q&A at Booter Library this week that the lack of meters remains a source of frustration.
I get the frustration, especially given the fact that 80,000 customers in the city of St. Louis do not have water meters. And you are right. We do not know how much water a customer is using if there is no water meter.
Officials estimate it could cost up to $400 million to install meters citywide, a cost currently left to individual homeowners. Clayco CEO Bob Clark was highly critical of two aspects of St. Louis city government ahead of his London dinner with the mayor and St. Louis Coalition.
Last week, before the Armory Data Center's approval, Bob Clark called the charter and the Board of Aldermen dysfunctional, adding they need to be more pro-data center.
A city that has such economic hardship, not bending over backwards to try to figure out how to get an economic engine like a data center in their community.
Alderman Rasheen Aldridge isn't concerned about the criticism coming from an ally of the mayor, but says Clark has his facts wrong and those comments hurt development.
We've passed multiple bills when it comes to tax incentives to helping developers and have never held one back. So maybe he's getting his facts from ChatGPT.
A spokesperson for Mayor Spencer declined KMOX's request for comment. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Stress seems to be a way of life for many of us in today's world.
April is Stress Awareness Month, but Dr. Erica Rutledge, psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions, says some amount of stress is healthy.
When we think about stress, sometimes we associate it with something negative, but actually some amount of stress is good because it can keep us motivated.
However, Rutledge says stress usually becomes an issue when it starts to have prolonged effects, which can lead to mental and physical illnesses if not dealt with over a long period of time.
Now, when it's something that has no end date, that will be something where you really have to kind of investigate your life and routines and see, is there something else I need to switch?
She says indicators someone is stressed include issues with habits such as sleep, food, and exercise, which, interestingly enough, are also examples of things people can do to mitigate their stress.
I would say just focus on one thing, right? And integrate it into your current routines.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Six Flags St. Louis opens this weekend, and for a lot of St. Louisans, this one hits differently.
Once again, it's time for those 4 magic words.
Six Flags is open!
New owner Enchanted Parks is expected to rebrand the park next year, making this the last full season under a name St. Louisans have known for more than half a century. The park is marking the occasion by celebrating its own history. The Screamin' Eagle turns 50 this season and is getting new nighttime lighting and a throwback button giveaway over the opening weekend. The park itself turns 55 in June with special programming the 5th through the 7th. The Screamin' Eagle in particular is expected to be a roller coaster of emotion for parents sharing memories from their own childhoods with their kids. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, a major milestone today for the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum. It's marking its 100,000th visitor since reopening in November 2022. It will celebrate the moment with students from Rogers Middle School in Afton this afternoon. It's 8:07. We will check traffic and weather together in 3 minutes here on Total Information AM.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created Neovitin Men's 50 Plus Multivitamin. It's doctor formulated to support your energy, immune health, and overall vitality. Plus, it's made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Take control of your health with supplements you can trust. Look for Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, or online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, made for men who keep moving forward.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's see what the roads are like this hour. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look?
Well, it looks like those delays southbound on Highway 270 approaching the earlier accident at the ramp to southbound 55. Those delays are easing. Looks like they've got the incident cleared out of the way. Emergency crews are still on the scene waiting for a tow northbound on Highway 55 just before Highway 44. That left lane and left shoulder are blocked with those emergency crews. So watch out as you're coming around the bend there from the brewery headed towards Highway 44 on northbound 55. You've got normal volume into downtown St. Louis, westbound 55-64, delay-free crossing the Poplar, westbound Highway 70. Similar story crossing the Musial. Busy through the Central Corridor, eastbound on Highway 64 now from McKnight to Big Bend, southbound 170 busy, ramping onto eastbound Highway 64 as well. Northbound on Highway 270 continues to open up north of 55 up to 44. Just a little off the pace stretch there between Big Bend and Doherty Ferry, Manchester, and Pockets, headed up towards the Clayton Road overpass and Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 8:20. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll start out with clouds and some rain and even a rumble of thunder for a while this morning. There'll be some breaks of sun later today with a spotty shower or thunderstorm this afternoon, or high 74. Gradual clearing tonight, though, 53. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. A pleasant start to the weekend with a high of 79. Still warm on Sunday with clouds and sun, high 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we do have rain, 62 degrees in Florissant. It's 61 in St. Peter's, 61 as well downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. For years, 4 friends from Wisconsin have been driving to Belleville, Illinois to put on an antique show. They have other day jobs. They just love antiques, the stories behind them, and the connection they make with people and memories. It's the St. Louis Antique Festival at Belle Claire Fairgrounds this Saturday and Sunday. I spoke with co-promoter Monica Berner.
Dealers bring a huge variety of antiques to our show, and we always like to talk about where they were bought, who they were bought from, what the story is behind them, because items don't just, they have more of a sentimental meaning, or, you know, we always say if they could talk and tell us the stories that they've lived through.
I know I'm always curious when I go to a flea market or something and I see something that I don't know what it is or what it was used for. You know, if there's some description of that on the labels, is this a place where people will be able to get that background on things that maybe they've never seen before?
100%. Yep, our dealers are more than willing and excited to talk about the items and educate, especially the younger crowd. Sometimes they're just starting out, or they're decorating and they may really like something, but they're not really sure what the, intended purpose was. And so they're more than willing to kind of talk about what it was used for or kind of the time period it's from, et cetera.
What are some of the things that you've seen over the time that you've been doing this that have really spoken to you?
My love is primitives, and I love the old furniture that they had made, probably late 1800s, early 1900s. They used square nails. They used different pieces of wood, whatever they could find. Also, kitchen utensils or dishes, bakeware was used that was made out of wood, and everything was hand carved. So, like a dough bowl is something that I use to decorate in my house, and I might put candles or pumpkins in it with grapevine, for Thanksgiving.
What's it mean to you that these things have been saved and preserved and still have value to people?
I think that some people save things, with the older generation, they saved a lot of things. And so the kids sometimes inherit those items and may not have the same appreciation or really understand what, maybe the value or, again, the story behind them. And so they sell. And so I think people acquire them that way. I think people hold on to things because of sentimental value. Maybe they were their grandmothers, or maybe they remember using that china for Christmas dinner. And so they hold onto them for sentimental value. And then in my case, I like to buy, and so I have to rotate items. So I may have something that I really like, and then I have to sell it because I want to buy something different.
Who all is involved? Tell me about this group, because you're not dealers yourself, correct?
I just have a very slight history and kind of selling, nothing to the caliber of this show. So my best friend is named Dory, and she's the owner of the show. She's the show promoter. And then I am the co-promoter. So it's us two. And then she's an occupational therapist by trade, and I am a speech pathologist. And then my husband is Bill, and he also helps with the show, and he works on a dairy farm. And then there's Connor, a good friend of ours, who is an electrician. And we're just kids from Wisconsin who do the show. It's the only show that we do. Most promoters do several shows. So it's kind of not only an antique show, but it's also a time for us to get away and spend time together as friends. And we really enjoy it.
These look like, from what I can tell in the pictures, we're talking some fairly high-end antiques. This isn't just a junk market, right?
Correct. This is not a flea market. It's not. We do have vintage items along with antiques, but it's definitely geared more towards the higher end, very rare items. But like I said, very, very much a variety. I think there's something for everybody. I don't think that, only a certain, type of customer that's looking for just a high-end piece should come, because we have people that have price ranges all over the place. I just think it's a really great time, even if you're maybe not into antiques yet, or kind of thinking about it, or maybe want to take a different look in your house or kind of add something to it. It's like you just have to go, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you see it.
My husband and I love to go to these just for the memories that it sparks. Sometimes we'll see something that, for example, a grandma had in her house, or we remember our parents having as a kid.
Yes. Yep. And you hear that all the time. You'll hear a customer come into a dealer's booth and say, "Oh my gosh, like I remember Grandma bringing the eggs in from the chicken coop in that egg basket. You know, she had a yellow one just like that."
For some of the vendors that you work with, how many years have you worked with them that they come to this show every year and bring their wares?
Some of them have been doing the show since it started for 30 years. We have the most loyal and just great dealers that are so supportive and bring just the greatest items as far as value and quality. They present them well, and they're just really fun people to be around. It's just a fun show to be. Everyone's in a great mood. We love what we do. We're very passionate. We really like the fact that other people are appreciative of what we do and the things that we bring. So, and then we have new dealers.
Well, Monica, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending some time with us on the air while you're traveling to Belleville to get all of this set up.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you Saturday at 8 a.m.
That is Monica Berner, co-promoter of the St. Louis Antique Show at Belle Claire Fairgrounds in Belleville. It is tomorrow until 5, Sunday 10 to 4. Admission $6 and parking is free. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Megan, we're still seeing volume passing the incident northbound on Highway 55 just before Highway 44. It's a stall blocking the left lane. Looks like we finally may have a tow vehicle on the scene there. So you got a little bit of volume approaching that scene back toward Arsenal, headed up towards northbound 55 and the Highway 44 interchange. Northbound on Highway 270 this morning, thinning out between Highway 55 and Highway 44. You're back on the brakes now between Big Bend, Doherty Ferry, Manchester Road, but not bad, not quite stop and go. We do have a stop and go stretch westbound on Highway 64, heading past Forest Park near McCausland. Eastbound Highway 64 is busy now between Clayton Warson and Big Bend. You've got a stop and go stretch there passing 170. In from St. Charles County, eastbound on Highway 70, delay free now all the way in from Lake St. Louis. Make your way up to the Blanchette Bridge. Eastbound on Highway 64, similar story. Wentzville headed up towards the Boone Bridge. Our next traffic update at 8:30. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Frank. And checking that forecast, looks like we're going to have rain off and on today. Thunderstorms possible as well. We could see a little bit of sunshine. A high today, 74 degrees. Gradual clearing tonight with an overnight low of 53. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm with a high of 79. Sunday, pretty much the same, a mix of clouds and sun, a high 76. Right now, rain, 61 downtown at the Arch.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. It's a great time to buy a brand new McKelvey home, and we have a great deal for you. Special closeout savings at Summerlin in Inverness and St. Charles on move-in ready market homes with savings of up to $124,000 with 4.75% financing. Select from ranch, 1.5 or 2-story McKelvey homes. Hurry before it's too late. Visit McKelveyhomes.com. Isn't it time to move up to McKelvey?
Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
We're starting a program here in the upper GI space called PREVENT. That's the acronym, and it's really aimed at trying to detect these cancers early and even to kind of, reverse them and understand kind of the science behind why they form.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hair volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. Ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
In case you missed it, Total Information AM is recapping some of the biggest stories we reported this week. We started out the week in the hole.
Well, I'm right underneath the hole that opened up over the weekend on I-64 into Illinois when you cross over the Poplar Street Bridge.
Our Sean Malone could see right through the rebar to the sky along that stretch of 64. KMOX asked IDOT engineer Joe Moreau if motorists should be concerned about that stretch of the interstate after repairs are complete.
No, you shouldn't be worried about it, but it is reaching the end of its useful life. We do have a significant project planned for the area to address and upgrade the roadway in that area.
No big data center projects in the works for One Metro East Town, and there may never be. Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson says they caught wind of a parcel of land being looked at.
This land out there was zoned for agriculture and M3 heavy industrial. There were no ordinances in place to protect that land if somebody came in and bought it and then built a heavy industrial district out there. So what we're putting in place now are protections for the residents for those types of concerns that they brought forward through this process.
In St. Louis.
Seeing none, I'll ask Secretary to please call the roll.
Director Dace?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
A St. Louis City board has set parameters for a data center development at the site of the Armory. It has to use a closed-loop water system to reduce consumption, use renewable energy for half its load, install a solar rooftop, and hit job growth numbers. But St. Louis Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer is wondering, why the rush?
I think that this approval should have been on hold until citywide regulations were in place for this use.
Schweitzer tells KMOX alder people didn't even have 24 hours to review the conditions. St. Louis's declining population is getting serious. The metro area #1 for a decline in birth rates. SLU demographer Ness Sandoval says in 20 years,
schools will ask the question, where are the children?
He says this is an historic decline, but the trend actually began in 2008. The only way to reverse it, he says, is to convince young people to move here and start families. But there's a problem.
We're no longer a major metropolitan region in terms of new housing starts. We're ranked 58th in the country. Every mid-tier major region is outperforming our region in terms of new housing starts.
Sandoval says most new builds are apartments that families with kids don't really want. Yet a bill in the Missouri State House aims to bring young families to downtown St. Louis with office-to-apartment conversions. The legislation would provide tax breaks and other incentives to developers who build in areas that need redevelopment. Executive Director of the Missouri Workforce Housing Association, Jeff Smith, says certain components aim to bring in residents who will contribute to long-term development.
Family-friendly design and family-friendly amenities are one of those criteria. So that's exactly who we're trying to attract, our young families.
Speaking of young families, WashU medicine researchers may have found the first real treatment for rotavirus. It's one of the most common causes of diarrhea and vomiting in babies and children. Dr. Sriwan Ding says it kills up to 200,000 kids a year, mostly in developing nations, but it is on the rise here.
The St. Louis Children's Hospital have their own tracking system, and we're already seeing more cases in 2026 as compared to 2020. 2024, and 2025.
Last fall, Dr. Ding's lab identified a specific enzyme that enables rotavirus to infect cells. Disabling this enzyme prevented infection, suggesting possible new treatments against rotavirus and other pathogens that rely on similar mechanisms. It's now 8:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's already April. Maybe you're planning to have some get-togethers, a graduation party, Father's Day cookout, who knows? But is your outdoor space ready? Maybe you never got around to all those improvements you had been planning. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And whether you're looking for a new deck or a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, or all of the above and then some, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make the magic happen because they have 58 years of experience and they have thousands of satisfied customers, and they offer real value because when you spend the money, you get a project that is going to last for years to come. They only ever use the highest quality materials. They have their own installation crews. That's important because those crews have years of experience. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 20% off your next outdoor project. Give them a call, stop by, or they'll come to you. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code COVER to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code COVER to borrow up to $10,000. Use code COVER to borrow up to $10,000.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. Like that morning status meeting, always better with bagels. And don't forget the coffee. Ops team working late? How about some power bowls to keep them going strong? Sandy's celebrating 10 years at the company. This calls for cupcakes. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
It's 8:30. Still raining out there. Let's see how that's impacting your morning rush. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got delays in both directions on I-70 near Jennings Station. Eastbound drivers are slowing to take a look. Westbound drivers, there's an accident off the road, but that right lane is blocked, westbound Highway 70. So use some caution if you're coming in there from about Lucas and Hunt, eastbound on Highway 70 and westbound approaching Jennings Station. Still dealing with that vehicle. It's the stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, partially blocking that left lane. The emergency crews are on the scene northbound on Highway 55, just south of Highway 44. A little bit of volume approaching that scene, headed towards downtown St. Louis from about the brewery. Northbound Highway 270 continues to thin out now north of Highway 44. Just pockets of volume now headed up towards Manchester Road and then again toward the Clayton Road overpass and Highway 64. Certainly not anywhere near stop and go. Our next traffic update at 8:40. Frank Ladd at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we're going to have rain throughout the day pop up. Thunderstorms possible as well. May see a break for some sun. A high today, 74. Clearing tonight, a low of 53. Right now, rain, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. Reaction continues to the Trump administration issuing an executive order to reclassify medical marijuana as a less dangerous drug. At the moment, pot is a Schedule I substance. In the future, it will be Schedule III. Cannabis journalist and author David Downs says it's a groundbreaking change of approach by the federal government.
It is historic. Since 1970, cannabis has sat at the top of the federal government's list of dangerous drugs. Schedule 1, equivalent to PCP or heroin. And just for some context, fentanyl, which has been killing hundreds of thousands of Americans, sits at Schedule 2. So this is a historic error that the Trump administration is fixing with this final order today.
The federal approach in place for decades, summed up by a public service movie in the 30s called Reefer Madness.
Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment...
Down says Reefer Madness pretty much summed up government policy ever since.
That's the exact word to use. In the 1940s, the American Medical Association said, hey, this drug has benefits. They're using it for migraines, pain, epilepsy, a bunch of mood disorders. And AMA lost that round in the 1940s. In 1996, California voters went to the polls and said, hey, this is medicine. It's good for cancer. It's good for HIV. It's good for a number of things. And they approved medical marijuana in 1996. The federal government went after state licensed physicians and raided stores. Here we are in 2026, and now the federal government is affirmatively saying, they were right all along. We've been gaslighting you. This is medicine.
And he says, obviously, the medical marijuana business will benefit.
It takes the pressure off the throat of medical cannabis businesses, and I do expect to see businesses taking advantage of that. And another thing it says is to ask the IRS to make these tax savings retroactive. So if you've been in the medical business under this burden for a number of years, you might be getting a big tax refund.
It should be noted the order does not decriminalize marijuana for recreational use as far as the feds are concerned. It's 8:34, your Money Report next.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Soar with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in Rachmaninoff's Third, Taking Flight. Assistant conductor Samuel Hollister and pianist Gabriela Montero make their SLSO classical subscription debut in Prokofiev's thrilling Third Piano Concerto. Enjoy Gabriela Smith's sky-inspired Tumblebird Contrails, Rachmaninoff's Third Symphony, April 24th and 25th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys, and we'll get to that in just a moment.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Two tech giants are shedding jobs. Microsoft is said to be offering voluntary retirement to thousands of its workers. About 7% of its U.S. employees will be eligible for the buyouts. Meantime, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram cutting 10% of its workers. The layoffs will begin at Meta on May 20th. Big tech companies have been looking for ways to trim their expenses as they pour billions of dollars into artificial intelligence. Turning to trading, optimism around the economic promise of artificial intelligence is supporting stocks this Friday, with chip makers doing the heavy lifting on the back of strong earnings results from Intel. The tech-focused NASDAQ futures are leading the gains this morning. And Tesla has started to manufacture its Cybercab robotaxi. The two-door, two-seat sedan designed for ride-hailing was unveiled 2 years ago without a steering wheel or pedals. something which would require certain exemptions from regulators for mass production. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Our annual Customer Appreciation Days are back. Save 10 to 20% on your garden and landscape needs on April 24th through 25th. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com for more details. KMOX will be live on site Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
It's 8:39. Let's get the latest on the roads now with Frank Ladd. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I'll start with the good news, Megan. Headed northbound on Highway 55 south of Highway 44. That stall is out of the way. All lanes back open there. So they finally got that one towed out of the way that had been blocking the left lane. We've got a new crash, and it's a vehicle off the road now. It's 70 westbound at Jennings Station. The right lane is currently blocked there. The vehicle is up on the embankment now, coming down from the Jennings Station overpass. So it's in an odd space. As I looked at it, I thought, how'd that get there? So eastbound drivers are also slowing to take a look. You're going to see some delays approaching Jennings Station on eastbound Highway 70. Eastbound Highway 64, you've got a pocket of volume passing 170 out of the city. Westbound on 64, not bad this morning, passing Forest Park. Northbound on Highway 270, we continue to thin out, just an off-the-pace stretch now between Manchester and the Clayton Road overpass. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic. Our next update at 8:59 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning. It's finally here. Friday, your favorite day of the week. It's Hancock and Kelley in to take you to the top of the hour. Then Amy Marks, of course, comes in and joins Michael Kelley. And we'll take you all the way till noon prior to the Gas House Gang. And joining me right now on the celebrity guest line is my good buddy who's a little bit under the weather, John Hancock. Top of the morning to you, Mr. Hancock.
Top of the morning. Yeah, I'm on the mend, though.
Is that right? You're getting through it out there on a rainy Friday, although it's supposed to ease up, and then we'll ease into a beautiful weekend. And speaking of weekends, John, I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to Sunday mornings on KMOX recently, but there's been some changes. And one of the major changes is at 9 a.m., you can listen to the Hancock and Kelley show from Fox 2, which is simulcasted right here on KMOX 1120 and 104.1 FM, as well as this week, something really cool is launching that Hancock and Kelley are doing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so starting Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, there's a special series of shows called America 250, and it's going to be a series of programs dealing with U.S. history and a little bit of St. Louis history as well, and some great guests, great topics, and it's going to be, I think, a really nice series of shows.
Yeah, and this all, of course, leads up to the 250th anniversary of our country. It has been fun. You and I have been hard at work here at KMOX recording some of these, and you being the historian of the Hancock and Kelley show have kind of curated almost everything that we'll be doing, and it will be a lovely, understandable walk through history of how this great country has survived and was created.
Yeah, this Sunday, we're going to focus on the American Revolution. We've got a history professor from Washington University, Peter Castor, who joins us, and we're going to cover so much of what happened during that 8-year American Revolutionary War.
Yeah, so if you don't get enough of your Hancock and Kelley fix this morning, Tune in Sunday morning at 8 o'clock all the way till 9:30 where Hancock and Kelley take over the KMOX airwaves. John, speaking of politics and a revolution, if you will, hey, you and I have often talked about the MAGA base and President Trump's base. We've kind of estimated that to be, 35% of Americans kind of just are all in on anything Donald Trump. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, other people have said it was closer to 40%, but I think some of that was just, generational Republicans who supported him. I think the actual true believers follow him anywhere is probably in that, mid to low 30s.
Well, here's a startling statistic. The Associated Press came out with a poll today that President Trump's approval rating is at 33%. Of course, he doesn't have much support from Democrats. His support from independents has plummeted. And that kind of leaves us right at where we have talked about. There seems to be this Trump trance over the Republican Party. That seems to be all that's left that's in support of his policies right now.
Yeah, the most interesting thing in that poll that I saw is that his approval by Republicans, by self-identified Republicans, is down to 68%. That's an all-time low in any poll that I've seen. And it does not portend well for the midterms.
It does not. And the midterms are 2 weeks away. I'm sorry, that's President Trump's line. The midterms are 6 months away. And it's likely that there could be some consequences coming that way, even if this war doesn't get wrapped up in time. We've got the economy, which seems to be going south. We have the president who's been involved in foreign wars. History shows us that this is going to be a good year for the Democrats, but it might wind up being spectacular if this president's ratings are at historic lows.
Yeah, I mean, if he stays in the mid to low 30s, it's going to be a bloodbath. But, a lot of time between now and then. And, hopefully, possibly, the war will not be on the radar screen come November. And if that's the case, that will be helpful. But, the other thing that has been fascinating to me, and another thing that you and I both predicted, buddy, is this whole redistricting ploy by the Republicans might end up being a major error in political judgment.
Yeah, we saw Governor Mike Kehoe jump up as one of the first states and say, yeah, we'll redraw it here in Missouri, and they're going to anticipate that they take away Emanuel Cleaver's seat, which would be the loss of one Democratic seat here in Missouri. But the state of Virginia went to the polls earlier in the week and passed a redistricting plan there that takes away almost 4 or 5 seats from the Republicans. Be careful what you wish for. You might just get it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. And, once we started this gambit in Texas, I don't know who was driving the political bus in the White House, but they should have calculated that if you look at the number of states that have total Democratic control, and at the time, Virginia was not one of them, but it is now because they've taken the Democrats have taken the governor's seat and the legislature. You should have factored in that the Democrats can play the same game and maybe with greater effect. And, so we've, A, set a bad precedent, and B, outsmarted ourselves, I fear.
Yeah, and President Trump is in the midst of dealing with this war, which he said would take 2 weeks. Here we are now 8 weeks into it. 8 days from now, there will be a vote in Congress over whether or not we should continue forward. Of course, the president has the authority to move forward with any actions like this where he believes that the national interests are there. But Congress is going to have a chance to weigh in on this. Now, Congress, of course, has been a rubber stamp for President Trump. But do you start to see some erosion of that 8 days from now where the power of the purse may get pulled back by Congress?
Well, something's got to give between now and then. And, you would think, I think the president wants to get out of this thing. He wants to be able to claim victory and leave. Can that be done in 8 days? I don't think so. But something's gonna have to change appreciably, or that debate's going to be very contentious.
This president made a lot of promises when he ran to be president, and we're 6 months away from an election, John. Is the Trump presidency potentially 6 months from being over with? Not that he will no longer be president, but it's likely he's going to lose the House, or he is going to lose the House. It seems, though, right now, if you look at polling, that he might lose the Senate. Doesn't that make him impotent in terms of moving forward with whatever policies he said he was going to push?
Well, it certainly renders any kind of congressional activity, done. He still will have executive orders and, all the other powers of the executive branch. So I wouldn't say he's impotent, but certainly enters a lame duck phase of the presidency.
Don't you anticipate when the Democrats come in, this president's given them plenty of things to look at for potential impeachment and hearings, etc. It's likely he'll be facing impeachment on day one, don't you think?
Yeah, and I don't know politically if that will play well for the Democrats, because, the president will not be removed by the Senate. At least I can't see it right now. And, we've done this dance before, and you'll recall when Republicans impeached Bill Clinton back in 1998, that accrued to the Democrats' benefit.
Yeah, well, often going after a president forces those who support him to rally around him, and that's definitely what we saw happen for President Clinton. We did not necessarily see that for President Trump and his previous administration. Hey, that's John Hancock. I'm Michael Kelley. We're going to step aside for a couple of messages. When we come back, we'll talk about what we face right here in Missouri in November and August.
Julius Krasanik here, celebrating 54 years in this industry. My family owns Wholesale Siding Depot. That's WSDepot.com. Our seasoned customer service group has over 200 years of combined siding, window, and door experience. My grandson Elijah says,
"Are you kidding me?"
Tired of companies that like to apply pressure to sell you high-priced fiberglass or wood windows? We offer the Anderson Fibrex family of windows in styles and colors, including black, at wholesale prices. What are you waiting for? We sell truckloads of siding, windows, and doors from CertainTeed, Anderson, Viwinco, Provia, and other major brands, all at wholesale prices, while offering a free contractor referral service for your expert installation needs. Keep it local, family, and professional. Visit WSDepot.com. That's WSDepot.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It's two voices this morning. I'm Michael Kelley. That guy right there is John Hancock. And John, last night was the NFL draft. Yeah. Almost 300,000 people packed into Pittsburgh to see a bunch of college athletes get chosen for potential stardom inside the NFL. Going as the first draft choice was Fernando Mendoza, the Indiana quarterback, after the historic year that they had. He's likely about to see a $55 million contract. Interesting to me, he was not there at the draft last night because, and this is kind of heartwarming, he wanted to be with his mother and father, and his mother is dealing with an illness. So he stayed back in Florida. Did you see it last night? And isn't that touching that somebody kind of passed up the fame to celebrate the moment with their parent?
Yeah, this is a good kid. By all accounts, Mendoza is just really a solid guy, great leader, which you want in a quarterback. and his mom is dealing with multiple sclerosis. It's hard to say, and he opted to stay with his family, and that's a sign that the kid is, I think, going to be very, very solid for the Raiders. Do they have an offensive line that can protect him? Not so much. So, we'll see how that proceeds. But talented kid, and he's going to get paid.
Isn't it amazing how it seems like in the last decade, maybe it's a little bit longer than that, how this NFL has become such a behemoth? I mean, we're talking about a draft that's 4 or 5 months before the season even starts, and it's getting coverage like a presidential election.
Yeah, I know it's quite the event. Some years ago, it was in Kansas City, you may recall, and that was incredible. The Chiefs had won the Super Bowl, and they hosted the draft, and it's become quite the spectacle.
Missouri, John, has a lot that it's going to deal with in the upcoming elections. Not much is going to change in terms of partisan control. The Republicans will continue to control the House and the Senate here, the governor's office, almost all the statewide offices. There's a potential change for one of the congressional districts over in Kansas City, which we dealt with in our first segment. There's going to be a lot of issues on the ballot that Missourians are going to weigh in on, even though we seem to be ruby red on most things. When it comes to statewide votes, the Missouri voter seems to be a bit more moderate. A couple of the issues that are moving forward is a change in abortion language. Of course, abortion's completely legal in Missouri after a vote. Governor Mike Kehoe, under the leadership of his wife, who I think is the chairman of the campaign, is looking to change abortion language in Missouri. Do you think that's got much of a chance?
It's got a shot. This would prohibit abortion, but allow exceptions for rape and incest.
Perfect. Well, that will be on the ballot. Another one that will be on the ballot, I know this is something that you've had a big issue with, is initiative petition reform. Of course, expansion of Medicaid, expansion of minimum wage, legalization of marijuana. So many things have gone to the ballot through the initiative petition process or the constitutional amendment process that Missourians have an opportunity to go and seek redress with. The Missouri legislature is wanting to change that, and it's going to be on the ballot to potentially limit the ability to put stuff on the ballot.
Yeah, they're looking at reforming the way the state constitution is amended. Right now, you can go collect signatures, put an amendment on the ballot, and with 50% plus one, amend the state constitution. The U.S. Constitution has a supermajority. It's very hard to amend. And the legislature is looking at, a higher standard for changing the state constitution. And that's going to be one of the more interesting things the voters will have in front of them.
We got about just 45 seconds left, but probably the granddaddy of them all that we'll be hearing the most about is the income tax and Governor Kehoe's drive to do away with the state income tax.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think there will be some money spent on both sides of that question. And it comes down to whether the people of Missouri want to be rid of the income tax. And it's going to be fascinating.
He is John Hancock. Get better, my friend. You can hear us all Sunday morning starting at 8 o'clock with our America 250 special. And then at 9 o'clock, the Hancock and Kelley show simulcasted from Fox 2. We're going to step aside now. Amy Markscores comes in and joins me right after this on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Falls are the leading cause of injury for older adults, so unload those worn-out slippers and avoid walking in socks alone in and out of the house. Podiatrists recommend